Hello everyone, welcome to another night of Nebulous nonsense with your boy Neko. We are going to be playing as the OSP faction today, so it's going to change it up a little bit. Last time we played mainly as the ANS, since I could only get in so many games. I'm hoping to get a couple more in tonight. We're going to be playing multiplayer, just on public servers here, so we're going to find a match on Tumbleweed first and foremost, looks like. Hoping for that OSP slot, which we get. I'm going to go ahead and load up some of my OSP fleets here. Gonna be playing, let's go with, I've got a variance of these broadside fleet. I think broadside 4 was my latest one. We're gonna check this out in the fleet editor. So in this case, I have a nice fleet of bulk freighters. The OSP is one of two factions which are in the game. The Alliance Navy, or ANS, is the, well, they're the faction we showcased last week. OSP is the Outlying Systems Protectorate, so we're playing as their kind of navy. They are sort of a non-conventional faction. This is a retrofitted bulk freighter, which has now had a whole bunch of guns put on the side, as you can see here. And yeah, their tech is not quite up to par with the ANS, since the ANS is a proper military, whereas the OSP is kind of whatever they could cobble together. But they've done some fun things, like this Grazer turret here is a retrofitted welding laser that they've turned into a point defense gun. And a bunch of their weapon systems, like these casemate cannons, they're having to use because they just can't engineer proper turrets. So, in this case, ANS is NATO. Yeah, that's a bit of a comparison a little bit. Something kind of like, yeah. There's a lot of comparisons with the OSP being the Rebels and the ANS is the Empire. And, well, there's plenty of different sci-fi or just other settings you can compare them to. But as it currently stands, I enjoy playing both factions since I think they both have interesting tools. Yeah. We've got a couple other things, such as the little shuttle down here with a small launcher on top. Just a single missile, since it counts as armed and can contest points that way. Anyways, we've got 3 bulk freighters stacked in a little pancake stack here, so they're going to be firing all of their left side guns, since they only have left side guns. Remember, in space, you can just flip your ships over. So with that, we're going to return to our lobby, since we are just waiting here. I'm going to show my fleets. I'm just going to ask, ready team? Yeah. Gonna take a look. So we've got a T-30 cannon. So the T-30 cannon is one of the few ones that is actually turreted on the OSP side. This is a Ocello command cruiser. Last week we showcased the Axford heavy cruiser, which is the sort of replacement for the Ocello. The Ocello was decommissioned, but then the OSP brought it back because they could. In this case, we see we've got 2 more bulk freighters. These are mass drivers trying to get that long-range firepower. And they've got a little cute scouting tug with them. In my case, I have a single shuttle to cap points, so it's my sort of forward scout and the forward firepower I can bring to bear. Let's see. Just kind of waiting. We're just going to hold up here. We had a full lobby for a second. I was just taking a moment to communicate with the team and ask if everyone's ready and good to go. See our sort of, what's this? Our Ensign Bourne over here. It has not shown us his fleet. I'm just going to ask him. Bourne, can you show fleet, please? This way we get a sense of what we're bringing to the battlefield, since you want to cover your bases. Sometimes you'll need to bring a bunch more capping ships to get the sort of small, what's the phrase I'm looking for? The back caps and other sides, since it's a lot more effective to send a ship that costs, say, 150 points than one that costs 1,000 to, go around the outside of the map and capture a point. In this case, we're playing control, so there's going to be 5 control points that we need to get a hold of and then accumulate 1,000 points to win, as indicated here. That, or we just knock out the entire enemy fleet. So, right, let's see. So he's seeing the C-65 here. Nice little variant of the starter fleet, which I don't remember the name of. I think it's Kyanite Squadron. Either way, he's got some nice 450 casemates, so those are very good against large ships, but they struggle against smaller vessels. In that case, then we can probably pair up with him and provide a bunch of 250mm autocannon firepower. So, yeah. Either way, we're getting our last player joining in here, so I'm going to just ready up. See my model freak out there as I have to move the mic around a little bit. How does fleet building work? Is it point-based? Yes, you are generally given 3,000 points to work with, and you distribute it amongst your ships respectively. I can show the fleet editor in a second, but we're currently in a lobby, so I just don't want to do that for right now. Just going to say, oh. Let's go, yeah. So, the fleet editor is very fun because you can pick and choose how you want your different ships to be equipped, and well, it's more or less just the limits of your creative freedom within your points cost. You want to keep things that are generally good, but also you want to keep things cheap. So it's a balancing act between things that you can bring to a battlefield that are very cheap, but also very effective. And then there's the old case of, like, do you want this thing to go fast? In which case you have to make it lighter, so smaller ships have a play there, versus having actual firepower. So if you just bring a whole swarm of shuttles, you won't be able to take down big ships. How much is the game? I believe it's about 20 USD last I checked. Let me just tab out real quick and look at the Steam store. Taking a look here, hoping it won't yell at me. Nebulous Fleet Command. It's currently available for 25 Canadian, which I think is about 20 USD. So, little noise there as the autoplay video kicks in. Anyways, I think that we're going to be going on the right side here. So we'll deploy our little scout up top, and then we're going to put our 3 ships, our bulk freighters, in formation down lower. The idea is that we'll be able to deploy and then point our guns towards the enemy this side, kind of walking around the outside of the map, and go from there. Yeah. Overall, Nebulous is a fun little small project. I believe the dev team is only like 4 people or so. I'm not exactly certain on it. I know that the lead developer, Mazer, shows up occasionally now and then in various channels and talks about stuff. So it's nice to see. It's a small community, and there's generally a pretty friendly attitude towards new players. Although sometimes you get a few people who are going to be unsavory, as is the case with every multiplayer game. It does also have single player, and eventually there's going to be a campaign mode added where you'll be able to do a bunch of sort of long-term campaigns, much like you do in, say, one of the Total War games. Yeah. Star Sector? Yep, Star Sector is a good parallel to draw against it. In this case, Nebulous is set in 3 dimensions, whereas Star Sector, I believe, is only 2. So we're just going to order our scout ship here to go to the E point and capture that. This thing is very cheap. I believe it's only like 106 points, so given that that's less than like 1/10 of... Let me do the exact math. Doing math on stream never works out. Either way, 106 of our 3,000 points is a very small investment to cap this point. Even if this ship gets hit by a missile, it's generally going to be worth it since it forces the enemy to do stuff. We're going to set our formation here to loose so that our ships don't quite bump into each other. Next, we're going to set our weapons to holding fire. As you can see, I issued a heading order, which is turning my ships over this way towards the position there. And we'll just kind of cruise around the outside. I'm going to do another trick, which is I'm going to issue a fire order to this position here. This will mean that all my guns are pointed that way, but because I have issued a hold fire order, none of them will be shooting. So I've just pre-aimed towards where I'm assuming the enemy is going to be, and we're going to see if we can't get lucky on that. Going to move ourselves upwards a little bit here. You see the center ship being the blue path, and then the ones attached onto it being the green. And the old good luck, have fun. Up over to team chat. We can see our allies over here. We've got our 2 bulk freighters with their casemate 450s moving into position onto this point here. They're going along with the Ocello command cruiser, which has some point defense on the sides there, so it's going to try and provide coverage along with a good lock on top.
Waiting orders.
World of Warship strats? Yeah, a little bit. There's plenty of different Navy games out there that all share some overlap, so in this case, I went for a fleet that is very good at kind of punching things that are lighter than it, so I will not be able to kill certain larger ships, but I will still be able to bring them to what is effectively a combat kill. So, while I might not have the full power potential of, these bulk freighters over here with their very big guns, I do have many guns in the smaller variety. So, that you can also see on the back, 2 shipping container decoys, which I'm going to try and use to spoof the enemy into thinking that I am a lot stronger than I am. Deception is part of every warfare, so we're going to go ahead and use that. Just readjusting the course of my capping ship here. Going to set it to flank speed. Hey Pyro, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. We're going to just zoom our way over to here. I'm assuming that there's going to be stuff there, so in any case, we've got high explosive loaded, so we'll be looking to trim escorts, and then if there's a big ship, we'll load AP rounds and try and punch through their hull. Do you want to build a Yamato? Yep, there is a battleship class in the game, which is very big. It takes up most of your fleet points. I think that most battleships typically run like about 2.5k points or so. Then usually they have 1 or 2 escorts to go along with. Yeah.
We're ready when you are, Commander.
Somalian microboats. Yep, in this case we have our little Somalian microboat here, which I'm just going to set to regular speed to not burn the engines. In this case, the Stew, which has my little face on it on the side. You can see the ship's number, 414. And I believe, yep, there is the little name tag on it. So this ship is going to go ahead and cap the E point and just maneuver around a little bit like that. Now, because we see they've capped the B point, we know that there's at least something over there, so we're hoping to find them. Unfortunately, the OSP does not have the best basic radars. The ANS typically has better radar in that regard, but we do have long-range search radars that we can equip on certain ships. Does the Stu even have guns? Nope, the Stu is equipped with a single missile launcher, which means that it technically counts as armed. So this, due to some of the quirks of the game, because of video game logic, this means that this has the same capping power as a fully armed battleship. Yeah, so it's a little bit cheesy, but at the same time, if you look at this thing funny, it evaporates, so we're just going with that. I've issued a little bit of a spaghetti pathing here so that if anything does try and shoot at it, it will hopefully miss. Okay, we're going to issue our dummy fire order up here.
Sorry, Commander, that's too far.
And then we're going to issue the first of our decoy launches, like so. I'm going to issue another decoy launch up here, trying to spoof the enemy into thinking that I am bigger. Plus, this way, they will see about 6 bulk freighters coming in. Oop. In this case, we are taking some fire, so we need to very quickly maneuver like so. We're going to shut down our radar in case they have radar-seeking missiles and attempt to evade. Oh, we see these are active radar command guy. So unfortunately, we got missiled there by quite a bit, and you can see a lot of firepower coming in. So in this case, I know that the enemy fleet is up here, which means that this ship paid 106 points and, well, unfortunately lost it to some missiles. But they gave me information, which is something I can make use of. So I'm going to signal a attack order here. That way my allies know where to aim. There we go. We can see some of the enemy tracks here. So we're seeing those red shots are RPF rounds, which is radio proximity fuse, very effective at shooting smaller ships like this. They should wake up in a second and realize that this thing is dead, but until then... So here we see one of their ships going around the outside. They will see a lot of our fleet here, namely they're going to see 6 bulk freighters, and that is a little bit to be concerned about. So in this case, we see more missiles launching. We're going to rely on our ship's point defense network to try and shoot those down as they come. We're just going to quickly maneuver up over to here. So we can also see some of our allies firing off, I believe it's grape shot from their ships. Yep, looked like there was grape shot loaded there, which is very small shots. Ooh, these are electronic. Size 3 EO. Interesting. Okay. This is a Size 3 hybrid missile with a electro-optical seeker. It's headed towards our allies' fleet here, but hopefully their point defense network is strong enough they can shoot it down. This bigger ship has more capping power speed. Nope. Ship is ship in regards to this game. I'm just going to quickly turn off my radars here in case those are ARAD, which they are not. Okay. We've just shot them down with our handy point defense network. In this case, if you have 2 ships on the point, they are contesting. There is some considerations made, like if you have an unarmed ship facing off against an armed ship, the armed ship is able to cap. There's other things like weapon systems that aren't technically weapon systems, like electronic warfare, that's able to do some stuff. We are approaching engagement range here. In this case, we're going to issue a fire order onto this one, and then we're going to quickly cut across the open here, burning the flank speed so we can get the best shot. I'm hoping that this is a big ship of some regard. Either way, we're going to mark it as priority and go from there. It seems kind of backwards. Sort of. So the way it works is that you have to balance different factors. It is a little bit silly with some of the capping rules, but, well, there's certain video game logic that comes into play. In this case, they're going to see a whole bunch of this and probably assume that I'm mostly decoys, since they've not, shot at me. I'm going to issue our fire order here and just try and get to 6.5 kilometers. In this case, they have locked my ship. I'm just going to quickly... Can't issue a burn through order. That's on the test branch. Right, here we see some big guns firing. That is going to be an Axford, I believe. 6634 Axford. I'm going to call that out. In this case, I'm going to see this destroyer here, and we're going to quickly try and get into range. In this case, they unfortunately know that my ship is real. So we're just going to quickly burn as fast as we can, as close as we can. Let's see if we can get there. As you can see, they're trying to reform their fleet. Ooh, that's a battleship. Correction, 6634 BB. So we're just going to quickly burn towards this thing, trying to get a shot onto the destroyer. We are going to issue orders to block our fire control radars. And then with any luck, we'll be able to do this. I'm going to just quickly try and do some evasive fire here. As soon as we get a lock on that, we should be able to engage. In this case, we see more missiles flying towards me, so we're going to quickly rotate over like so. That's quite a few missiles, actually. So we're going to shut down our radars, again, to assume that they are ARADs on the off chance there. So there's a good chance that they are going to just completely whiff into our ships. Oop. Okay, so unfortunately, we got some hits there. So as you can see, our damage control board has lit up, and we've taken some hits. Anyways, since the enemy is going to slow down like so, we're going to move forward. Still burning our flank speed because we really want to get in range of that destroyer. As soon as I can get that 6.5 kilometer mark, I should be able to clobber it with our guns. Just had to be a little patient, just a little closer. There we go. Now we have a lock. We are going to issue the fire order and let that 250 fly. We see a nice little 3-stack of huge bullets flying this way. I'm going to quickly issue a maneuver order so that I can get out of the line of fire. And that destroyer is not long for this world. Bam, 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 bam. Just mass rocket ships. Yep, there is the option to play a bunch of rocket shuttles as the OSP. Rocket shuttles are a very good tool to have since they can punch upwards, so to speak, since their rockets are quite devastating, although unguided. In this case, we see a missile ship here, which I'm going to mark as priority. 9025 missile boat. Here we can see more missiles coming in our way. They're trying to spoof them off that way, so I'm going to... Uh-oh. Unfortunately, we're being jammed here, so I'm going to quickly issue what orders I can. Sending more decoys out. Trying to confuse them. In this case, I have unfortunately lost my container stack launcher with my decoy, but I don't really need that. We're just going to use a restore to bring our guns back online. Now, in this case, we don't really want to tango with the... Oop, that thing's actually dead. I should have issued a hold fire order. All right, in that case, then, we are going to look at what else is on the map. So, in this case, ooh, that's another battleship. So, 3342. Battleship. And there we are. We're going to quickly look around. So, in this case, we took a lot of hits here. Oof. Unfortunate. But we're going to chain restore, which means that we're going to use a bunch of our restores to unlock more restores by fixing our damage control lockers. Let's see, we're going to get the magazine back up as well, since that is very important. And that should all be good. We're going to try and get the reactor as well.
Make it quick.
So in this case, I took quite a few missile hits here, which is rather annoying. I don't think I'll need anything else on these ships for the moment, and we're just going to kind of hold here. In case I am going to load AP shells, since I know that the enemy has a lot of battleships, and I will need to deal with that. Yeah, we're just going to move over and try and hold our line here as best we can. You see a bunch of tracks here. So in this case, this is a chaff cloud, which is a nice little 1-point investment to try and spoof certain missiles. There's a lot of tech that goes into missile warfare and being effective with it. In this case, we can see the enemy has launched lifeboats from their one vessel.
Make it quick.
It's more confusing. Yep, Neb has a lot of layers to it. It is as complicated as you want to make it. In this case, we have a fleet of gunships, which I am trying to work as best I can. We see a battleship here with triple beam turrets, something you'll often see on Tumbleweed. A bunch of those point defense turrets going off as various missiles fly into this voxel light cruiser. This cruiser has a whole bunch of missile launchers on it, so it's most likely here to launch torpedoes, or it expended its load early. Given the duo nature of this, I'm going to guess these are torpedo ships. Anyways, we are going to be trying to lend our fire support where we can. I think that if I rotate back to here, I can defend the C point. And since, let's see, I don't really have the firepower to take... Actually, with plasma, we might. Okay, I might have the firepower to take on that battleship then. You can see that BB is located down here, so we're going to signal our attack order there, like so. See more missiles flying down underneath here. These ones, the sprint stage of the hybrid missiles flying very fast. Ooh, unfortunately, the final orders just got taken out with a good hit to the reactor there. So, you can see the missiles launching out the backside of this, getting shot down almost immediately. The casemate turrets, unfortunately, are a bit limited in where they can fire, since you have to account for the ship facing in that regard. So we're going to move over here, like so. And I'm going to try and get around the flank outside here. Torp ships sure are close. Yeah, they kind of recklessly charged in, which is a little concerning. Since they are torpedo ships, they only need to fire once to really be effective. They can dump their missiles very, very fast. Here we see a bunch of fire being exchanged between our bulk freighter, its turrets coming to bear on the target, and our Ocello here should be firing its plasma turret shortly. Yep. So plasma can strip off a battleship's heavy armor, which normally we wouldn't be able to penetrate through. Need another sip of water. Hang on a sec. There we go. All right. Now, let's see. So we wanted to bring more of our stuff online, so we're going to bring that gun back. And I think bringing the CIC back up online is a good idea, since our lockers are most likely to get taken out by a good shot.
Orders.
I'm to think of it, I should rework this to include more damage control lockers, because I think I only have... Oh, no, I've got 3. That's not bad. YouTuber face looks so crisp when you drink. Yeah, the tracking kind of freaks out because it obscures like half of my face when I sip my water bottle, so you can enjoy the Neko Jank Big Sippies.
Firing on target.
Anyways, gonna just cycle through our fleet here. I could improve the damage control central, but that's liable to get taken out again, so we're just gonna hold off on that. Gonna engage a flanking order here to try and get around this corner. I'm hoping that, yep, you can see the enemy is getting cooked on their side of the ship, so hopefully our friendly fleet here will be able to put a good hole in them. I'm going to try and engage the ship from the front here, which is not the ideal maneuver. Oop, here we see a bunch of missiles flying after our allies, but I think most of them... ooh, they got some hits there, unfortunate. Either way, this ship here is still operational? Okay. We're going to execute our fire order on that one, since it's a better chance to kill than the battleship. We're just going to go about and go bam, 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 bam. In this case... firing everything. I'm thinking this is a light cruiser, and we're just seeing the absolute shredding that is coming in on it now. Yep. Given the sort of profile, that's either a destroyer or light cruiser. Oh, we can see a bunch of missiles trying to panic fire out of it before it gets destroyed here. Yeah. That is, let's see, those are EO Act. Okay, so unfortunately, we can't really do anything to counter those, but we do see a couple of the point defense guns firing off there, killing them ahead. This thing has the Sarissa turret somewhere, which is a long-range point defense gun. I believe they can shoot down missiles up to 8 kilometers away. In this case, we're going to issue another move order. Yep, that is a CL, or rather was a CL, Vauxhall light cruiser, not long for this world, as we are shredding it with all of the 250 we could field. I'm assuming that it's dead, but given that I don't think I can really scratch the battleship... Alright, we're going to fire on the battleship just in case. We'll keep the lock order issued there. This thing should eject its escape pod soon. Fortunately, I can't hear anything. Sometimes you can hear the alarm sounding, issuing an evacuation order. In this case, we see ourselves catching the broadside of that battleship there. Going to be issuing another move. So, battleship is very tough to bring down, but in this case, we are going to try our best, cooking away at it with our 250. Unfortunately, we don't have quite enough penetration to get through the armor, but with any luck, enough shots will be able to tear through it in time. You can see some heavy firepower coming in now, since we've got a 450 gun on the top and bottom of this 8-rounds Apid blob. Yeah. We're just going to shoot at it until it dies. It's one of the few ways to kill a battleship. Usually you have to do this for about 20 minutes or so, and then it eventually kicks the bucket. But as you can see, we're currently ahead on the points, about to cap the A point, which is located down here. In this case, we see the other one from Blobcat holding this point. Nice little hybrid here, where we've got 450 on the top and bottom, and a little 250 turret on top. That way they have something to shoot at lighter ships while also being effective against large targets. You can see this mighty battleship here with its 3 450 turrets. Kind of surprising to see only this. Normally you see a 4th smaller turret on the top here. Yeah, seeing a CL get 250'd is very satisfying. It's part of the reason why CLs are not in the best state right now, since a bunch of the damage kind of goes through and clobbers them from the casemates. Oh, somebody just followed. Pyro, thanks for the follow. Right. And as we see, this thing is looking more and more like a block of Swiss cheese. See a nice little missile hit cratering into it there. Wham, wham. I believe those are torpedoes? Yeah, those look like torpedoes. Ooh, okay, so in this case, we see one of the enemies has surrendered. So, in this case, it is this ship, so we're going to mark this as killed and hold our fire. 6634 dead. There we are. So with that over and done with, now we can focus on other things. So this ship has still not technically died, so we are just going to really quickly correct that. You can see our guns rotating here as I kind of jank the camera into the ship. Issuing lock order. Lock, lock, lock. And you are weapons free. Nya, 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 nya. In this case, I'm very surprised that the Anubis here hasn't ejected its life pods and stuff, but yeah. Only liners I've seen in months have anti-torpedo. Alright, so. Wham, 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 wham. Ah, there we go. Now we are issuing a hold fire. So we hear the alarm sounding along with all the clangs, issuing that this ship is in fact dead, done, and dusted. Now we know the enemy fleet is over here, and there is a pair of Vauxhalls, which we can quickly remove from existence. We're going to again issue our fire order there and order the ship to reload all their guns. Going to maneuver around here, helping out our teammates as best we can. And we have to just issue a change heading order. Our ships should spin around in time.
Yes, Commander.
Alrighty.
Receiving.
Let's see. So, do we have any more decoys? Unfortunately not. Is there an ammo system? Yes. So, in this case, I have a magazine, which I have to keep alive. You can see my stored ammunition there. If the magazine goes down, the ships cannot fire. So, the ammo system, the way it works is that every gun has its own set reload rate, and some cases, in this case, our casemate C-53 cannons have a autoloader. That means that the autoloader can fire its shells, but then we have to do a long, lengthy reload time. In that case, we can boost that a bit by using different modules. In this case, we have ammo elevators, which improves our reload rate, and rapid cycle cradles, which improves the actual rate of fire, the interval between our bullets coming out of the autoloader. And we see that beam battleship, unfortunately, cooking off some of our friendlies here, so we're going to have to really quickly get into position to try and help out against that. We also see that Vauxhall tearing its way across, so we're going to issue ourselves to go down lower and then go up higher. Oop. In this case, we see another one of them going away. Let's see, is it the battleship? Nope, battleship is still firing, so we're going to issue our fire order onto that. In this case, my ships are kind of turned around the wrong way, so we're going to have to maneuver accordingly. I'm going to issue a dud fire order here since we just lost that track. Alright. I'm calling in GG, so I'm assuming a bunch of those Vauxhalls do not have any weapons left since their torpedo payload seems to have been expended. You can see our friendly ships here firing all they've got. Why your team leaving when you're not winning? This is the enemy team that's leaving. I am on the orange team, even though I am blue. Yep, once you're knocked out, there's not really much for you to do. In case we're just going to... Oop, there we go. They have chosen to throw in the towel, so we're going to give them a GG, and that's a bit of the OSP gameplay. Oh, whoa. Put the whoa in the OSP. Woo. So, we can take a look at some of our team. Here we can see our two liners here. Unfortunately, got knocked out at the sort of 11-minute mark or so. That was probably from the torpedo run here that we saw. So in this case, Tyr had very bad luck with most of their torps not hitting. Yep. So you can see 29 of them defeated with only one good hit. Got a little error here. Null reference exception. Don't mind that. Still early access game. So in this case, these liners, unfortunately, they did get taken down probably by the beam battleship here, which, as we see, dealt 24k damage. Yep. Why is my UI blue then? It's blue because it's friendly to me. So the UI does not change depending which team. Just in this case, we see Blobcat did very well with their sort of hybrid ship here. Ooh, a lot of damage off of those mace torpedoes. That's really what kind of sealed the fate for this battleship over here, just knocking out a bunch of its systems. We can see the drives and reactors getting taken out slowly. I think they might have thrown the towel in a little early because they could have fought for a little while longer, but they were also facing off against about 2, maybe 2.5 fleets. So either way, pretty happy with my fleet. Did about, let's call it 6k average across these. In our case, we see the Stew got unfortunately taken out at the start, but it captures the point, forcing the enemy's hand. Yeah, that is the OSP. We're going to load this up again and look for another match. Ooh, we've got a match on Killboard. Both Killboard. So Killboard is the kind of competitive server. Since I'm just playing a little bit casually today, I'm just going to wait and see if another lobby appears. Let's see, there's some private lobbies here with the password protection. Darg's Testulus Coliseum. In this case, Darg's hosting a test server. So there is a testing branch since they want you to try out some experimental stuff before they push it to live. In our case, I think we'll just go to, let's see, Ma. That could be a map. Okay. This is the US West, so I'll get a little bit of ping, but that shouldn't matter too much. I'll just go here, and since typically the OSP plays the second team, in this case you see a placeholder fleet of mine, just costing a ridiculous amount of points since it's full of sand. We are just going to go ahead and load up some more gun fleets. So in this case, I'm going to show off some of the broadside 450, I think. I'll just load up one of the custom maps, the Maw, which we might end up vote skipping. Let's see, where is that? Let's see, there is list maps command, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to see all of the various maps that we can play here, in case some of these are modded, some are also official. So there's quite a few modders in the game who like to make a bunch of different maps, and some of them are better than others, I'll just flat out say. Most of the maps are pretty good. A couple of them are a little bit difficult to play. There's one map that I distinctly remember, which is just like one long corridor, which is just a complete shooting gallery and absolutely horrible. Yep, 7 boats. In this case, if we take a look at this fleet. So we have, in this case, we got the Crimson Gardens, a tugboat class clipper. It's got a Bloodhound radar on the front, which has a very long range of 14 kilometers, but it has only got a narrow cone to see with. It's got a positional error of 30 meters, which 30 meters at 14 kilometers is pretty good. In this case, I've improved it with a, where is that Bloodhound? Here it is. I've got a pair of track correlators, which means that I am now very precise. So this gives me very good fire control at long range. To see the enemy, though, since this is very narrow, I have a early warning radar, which is very wide sweeping. It goes out to 18 kilometers, which is very far. The furthest the ANS radars can reach is 11.5 kilometers, I believe, with the spyglass. So typically, you're able to see the ANS first with this scouting tool. This is a nice little tug, although it is very power intensive running both of these at the same time, so I needed a lot of plank control centers to really boost up my reactor. Anyways, we've got now the Ulster Falls and the Long Wine, sort of matching bulk freighters. They've got C-65 casemate guns, spewing 450 out of the side, a couple of the decoy container launchers on the back, like before. You can see a little bit of point defense on the sides as well with our Grazer laser turrets. And we've got a pinpoint fire control radar in case we need to bring some very precise fire. Although this does, unfortunately, only go to 6.5 kilometers like we saw last game. So we won't be able to get a target lock. Although when we do, it's only a 3-meter error, which means they basically can't miss. Without, taking into account the fact that the guns have a little bit of inaccuracy baseline. So, next, to round out the fleet, we have our rocket shuttles here. This is the Rot Dust with a little rocket launcher, 18 barrels on the belly, and a size 1 launcher on the top, just because I had a few extra points and felt like it. Next, we've got a duplicate of that, the Outwitch Ranch. And then lastly, we have the Prairie Bazaar, our cute little ACAP shuttle, much like we saw in the other fleet. So the idea is that we've got a loose collection of ships able to bring a reasonable amount of firepower at long range, and also then we've got 2 small rocket shuttles that can try and punch somebody if they get up close to me. Yeah, it generally works pretty well. I'm just going to wait and see if the lobby fills up. So if anyone would like to join, the lobby is open, and yeah, come on by. I would just be sitting here drinking water for the moment. Yes, while we're waiting, I can show you how to use the fleet editor. So let's say that we want to make a new fleet. We're just going to go ahead and hit New Fleet here. We can choose between the Shelter Alliance or the Outlying Systems Protectorate. There's a little bit of lore blurb about the two of them, which I will not get into right now. But in this case, let's say we want to go with the OSP. We'll select that. By default, it will generate us a naked tug here, which is the sort of default ship that they give you. So you can put different stuff on this. So let's say I want to put a gun on it. All right, I'm going to select the front mount, and let's put a 250 casemate cannon here. So you can see we've now got a gun, although we don't have enough crew to operate. So in this case, our crew is 55 out of the 40 we've supplied. So we're going to, in compartment 2, place a berthing, which will increase our crew count. You can see now we have 112 crew available. You need crew to manage your various systems. Now, because we have a gun, we need ammunition for it. So we're going to, in this compartment, put a reinforced magazine. We have a choice between the bulk magazine, which is a little bigger, but also a little bit weaker, or the reinforced magazine, which is a little bit tougher. Can you play on the same team with 2 factions? Not normally, but there is a mod that allows you to do that if you want to have mixed fleets. It's interesting to see that, but the general design of the game is to have sort of this asymmetrical warfare. The ANS has its strengths, and so does the OSP, but each faction also has its weaknesses. ANS versus OSP is the typical way you see it, kind of like how in Counter-Strike you have the terrorists versus the counter-terrorists. So, if you're playing with friends and stuff, you would need a mod to remove that restriction, but it is technically possible with that. Can you be ANS and your mate is OSP? Yep, you can play 1 versus 1 against each other if that's what you want. In that case, you just have to change which teams you're on. So, which lobby am I in? I am currently in... Just ignore the changes here. Currently in Area Official 2, so you can see my sort of stock fleet here, which is just a bunch of container liners full of sand. Let's see, Pyrope has joined now. Going to go back to our... we'll just select this one for now. Edit that fleet and go back to building a new one. In this case, I've got 2 Acellos in this fleet, the Tuna Melt and Salmon Salad, because I was hungry that day. Going to go back to our ship where we were, so I'm going to just quickly throw all those bits and pieces back on it. In case we got to the reinforced magazine. So now we need some ammunition, which we can put into the magazine here. So we're going to select a mixture of 250 and 450, or sorry, 250 AP and 250 HE shells. In this case, we can see it's 1 point per 50 units. So we're just going to really quickly click here and get ourselves a little error message again. Close out of that. There we go. I'm going to select 100 AP shells and 100 HE shells. So in this case, if we look at the casemate turret, we can see it has an autoloader capacity of 15, recycle time of 2, and a reload time of 70 seconds. Give me 1 second here. Vote. Oh, okay. Have to go back to the lobby yet again. Do this. We're going to vote, change the map to Yukon, which is kind of fun. All right. So with that, we should probably find a force. Now it's, again, we see the various container liners full of sand taking a moment to load. This is a case where quite literally I filled a container liner full of sand. It is my litter box. Thank you very much. It's very important for me to have this fleet. I'm going to, once more, go ahead and try and show off the fleet builder here. Select our cannon, and select our berthing, and select our magazine. I've gotten pretty good at doing this over time. So select this and that. There we go. So in this case, now we've got 100 of each shell. So the gun can store 15 shots in its auto loader, which it will expend every 2 seconds. In that case, it's a bang, 2 second wait, bang, 2 second wait, bang, 2 second wait until it's empty. Then we need 70 seconds to refill the auto loader before it can fire again. We can improve that by adding various modules. In this case, we had seen before the ammo elevators. Unfortunately, I don't have a big enough slot to put a rapid recycle cradle, but we can add on the ammo elevator here, which will then improve our reload rate. You can see our recycle time is reduced by 20% because of one of the properties of the tug hull. We'll just showcase here. As you can see, it has a 20% recycle time reduction. Now we see our reload rate has been dropped by about 10.5 seconds with that 15% buff. You grab a base... So you grab a base form ship and add modules and slots. Yep, so the slots and modules and stuff are fixed. In this case, the dimensions here, we see we have a big reactor here. We've got a drive. I can only fit those in so many slots. But if I get something like, let's say, a bulk freighter, we can see this thing has a lot of different mounts that I can put weapons into, depending on their facings and stuff. I've then got the compartments, which are for storing things like crew. And take a look here. You can see I can put in damage control lockers. I can put in a plant control center if I need more power. I can put an intel center to identify the enemy better. A gun plotting center to reduce the spread of my guns, since, got to do that on the fly calculation to hit the ships. And then down here, we've got our different modules we can put in. So we could put in, say, track correlators if we want to improve our radar accuracy. Ammo elevators, like we discussed, to improve our reload rate. We can add some more, in this case, a focused particle accelerator, although we don't actually have any beam weapons on the ship, so this wouldn't really do anything. We could do a energy regulator to improve our energy weapons refire rate. So if we had a mass driver, that would improve the rate of fire on that. In this case, we also see that all of this will cost us points. So every ship has a base cost to it. So if we look at the blank hull, the Ocello here costs 575 points baseline. The bulk freighter is 350. Cargo feeder, 175. So it's different depending on which hull you choose. So each hull also comes with its own respective ratings for stuff. So the basic speed is kind of dictated by how much the ship weighs, and you've got certain things like mass. As you add more stuff to a ship, it'll get a little bit heavier. Typically, mass isn't that big. We're Yamato. I will show off the ANS in a second. In this case, we have 20 centimeters of armor thickness on our bulk freighter here, so not a lot of armor, but there's a lot of big empty space. All right. Because I've shown the fleet building a little, I'm going to show off the ANS side. So if we take a look here, in this case, it gives us a little starter frigate. So we saw the Solomon class battleship last time. So in this case, a Solomon is a very big ship. You can put a bunch of fun stuff on it. Like, let's say we wanted, let's go down to guns. We could put a big old triple-barreled cannon on the front. And then we can back that up with, say, a railgun. And then on the back, for close quarters work, we could put something like a beam turret. Then because, of course, this is space, we have to deal with 3 dimensions. So you can go with something like beam turret on the bottom as well. So this is not a build I would usually do, but it is the freedom you can do to put different things together. You want to try and make your ships fit for a specific task. Typically, if you're going to put beams on a ship, you want to build into beams. Or if you want to put guns, you want to build into guns or railguns. So you kind of pick a role. 3 flavors you typically see are gun, beam, or in this case, energy, because technically railguns and beam turrets share some of the same modules, or missiles. I wouldn't put missiles on a battleship, though, as, well, it's kind of a waste of a platform, and missile ships you can usually put in smaller stuff, so. Big sad for a 61 centimeter gun size. In this case, we have, let's see, what is it? 61 centimeter. I'm not sure where you're seeing a 61 centimeter gun size. Let's see. In this case, this is a Mark 68 cannon, which fires 450 shells. The smallest shell you can fire from a battleship is or from ANS anyways, is 120 millimeters. Yeah, ballistic chemical single shots. So, well, actually, I guess technically a defender fires a whole bunch of 20 millimeter slugs, but that's a point defense turret. It doesn't shoot at ships. Yeah. So if I wanted to build a battleship, I would have to fill this out a whole bunch. I think I have a battleship saved somewhere. Yeah, battleship. Let's take a look. I haven't used this thing for a while, and I think points changed. Yep. So we have our Silimon here. As we can see, this thing has a whole bunch of guns on it facing forwards. It's got a beam on the back in case I want to get close quarters with people. Then I've got a whole whack of point defense turrets, a whole whack of ammunition. I've got intel center, damage control, redundant CICs, bunch of damage control lockers, auxiliary steering, gun plotting. So it's a lot. As you see, this is a very expensive ship, taking up like, I believe that's 80% of my funds plus. So yeah, very expensive ship. I don't typically like running battleships. I find that they are just a little too slow and clunky. I much prefer the smaller Axford heavy cruisers. I find they do generally the same job, but are just a bit cheaper and faster. So I find they're more effective than the kind of big lunk of metal that is the battleship. Another problem with the battleship is that every new player likes to gravitate towards it and spend all 3,000 points on a single battleship, which typically gets taken out by a good missile strike or by them positioning it badly. Battleship is an effective tool at being a big immovable lunk of metal that the enemy has to spend 20 minutes trying to kill, but outside of that, it can be a little bit of a struggle. So every hull has its trade-offs. For example, if I wanted to instead go the complete opposite way and make a whole swarm of little sprinters here with, let's say, a mixture of the 250 and the 120 millimeter guns. These are very small and fast and able to go after a whole bunch of enemy smaller ships and also cap points. But the caveat is that they just don't really have the firepower to engage something that would be big as a battleship. So 1 BB, 30 micro builds. If you could fit that into a build, I'd be very impressed. By default, you can only have 10 ships maximum in a fleet, although you can mod this away. Yeah, usually let's see, where had a ANS fleet somewhere with it. Here it is, the ferry court. So in this case, I have a battleship here, or rather, a better battleship, which is the Axford. Similar kind of loadout. In this case, I've got missiles on the back. So this is a Axford heavy cruiser able to engage the enemy pretty decently. It's got a nice arrangement of point defense turrets as well as the big 450 cannons. Then to go along with this, I've got a smaller Sarissa frigate able to provide long-range anti-missile fire support. Then I've got just a bunch of little ships to go along with it, acting as my sort of fast attack escorts. So yeah, these are pretty good at what they do. It gives me good map presence, and I've got a big ship if I want to engage enemy big ships, but also enough tools to generally be a nuisance around the map. So yeah, this is a more supportive fleet that I like to play sometimes when I need to, well, there's sometimes when you look at your fleet comp, you're like, okay, somebody needs to control the points. So I'm able to send around my little ships to do the controls there. Anyways, I'm going to select, what is it? We're going to play the 450 broadside. Yep. Yeah. As you can see here, Pyrope has loaded up a missile battleship thing. Although we are going to be playing on the OSP side, so we're just going to wait for people to show up and play. Yeah. In the meantime, if you can hear it, I'm going to eat some of my num-nums. The authorities don't want you to know this, but you can just put chocolate chips in a little bowl and eat them, and nobody stops you. I filled up a cereal dispenser with chocolate chips, so I can twist a little bit into my food bowl whenever I want. Just gonna put a ping out into the Nebulous Discord. I'm looking for game and stuff. Area number 2, 4 of 8. 2 slots ANS, 2 slots OSP. Going by for Yukon. Put a looking for group ping out there. That way, hopefully somebody will show up very quickly. Yeah. There you go. Meantime, you can watch my little ears wiggle. Oh, right. Something I almost forgot to mention. There's also missile design. So, while it is one thing to design your ship, you can also design some of the missiles that go into it. So, in this case, you can see we've got a bunch of little dummy warheads here in the fleet. Just little cheap 1-point wake seekers. So these are just a fire and forget nothing missile. It makes our ships count as armed, though, which is very important for contesting points. I've got a wide array of different types of missiles here. You can see we've got our Type 1s, indicated by the prefix here. So some of these are anti-missiles, some of them are anti-ship missiles. We see our size 2s, which are a little bit bigger. They are able to go a further distance. And then finally, we've got the big old size 3 torpedoes, which really bring a big old smack. And then on the OSP side, we have the unique shipping container missile, which is a size 4 box. If I had boobs, they would wiggle more. Yes, well, unfortunately, I just have cute ears, so sorry. Other things that are kind of interesting is that each of the OSP hulls are uniquely generated from a set of premixed parts. So if we take a look at our ship here, you may notice it looks a little bit different than the Ulster Falls. It's got different container parts around, and the mounts are ever so slightly different. Actually, these might be... Yeah, these are dimensionally identical, which is kind of nice, although we see the ship has a different position for its little... what's the word? Coning tower, I think? Sort of the observation deck? Either way. So it's a nice little bit of variety, and the OSP is unique in that regard, with their bulk freighters being retrofitted freighters, and there being a little bit of inconsistency of design, just kind of whatever the shipyard felt like putting out that day. So they've retrofitted them, added armor plating, and just kind of sent them into battle. So if I was to say clone this ship, you'll notice it looks very different. If I was to go over and do that again, very different hull. And one more time. And there you go. You can see this one has a big old crane on the back for moving cargo pods and stuff around. Yeah. Anyways. See, we're just loading up here. Normally, neb lobbies fill up pretty quick, although it can take a little bit of time. So, nice thing is that you can spend a lot of time in the fleet editor, although just hoping that we'll get some players. Put out the looking for group ping just a second ago, so hopefully we'll get a couple people joining in. Meantime, we can select, let's take a look at, actually we can use the ferry court for our example here. Just edit this in the old editor. So we can see our missile type here. We're going to go into the missile designer and take a look at this. We have the size 3 hybrid Thorn, as I've called it. In this case, the missile comes out to 19 points. I can adjust this by changing around the size of the warhead. In this case, bigger warhead, more expensive, versus smaller warhead, less expensive. This does affect the damage, obviously, so we're just going to revert the changes on that real quick. We can set the type of guidance, whether we want it to be direct fire, where you just point and click at the enemy, or cruise, where you can set waypoints to go around rocks and stuff. You can change the type of seeker. In this case, I've got a anti-radiation seeker as the primary, so if the enemy has their radars turned on or otherwise are just kind of readable, I will be able to find them. This means that if they try and jam me as well, I'll go after them very quickly. Then I've got a active radar seeker here, which is just a radar emission from the missile, so it'll fly out and bounce off the enemy ships, and hopefully I'll be able to detect it and then hit them with my missiles. In this case, this seeker only has a 2-kilometer range versus the ARAD seeker here has a 3-kilometer range. I've got my stage trigger set to be, I think these are set to trigger at 3 kilometers. I'll just swap over here. Yep. So you can see the stage trigger is set to trigger at the 3-kilometer mark, which is exactly when the active radar seeker is able to come online. Yeah. In this case, it's a nice little missile that flies pretty quick and is able to smack into enemy ships. You can see I've gotten a little bit of speed on it, so 571 when it enters the sprint stage. Accelerates incredibly fast at 103 Gs. Top speed in 0.6 seconds. Turns pretty quick as well. A little bit of chat. You can see it's got a little bit of range to it. In this case, the engine config, I've just catered all of this towards the speed since I want this cruise stage to go as fast as possible. This way it can get to its objective as soon as possible, given that acceleration isn't really a big issue since it'll tend to get up to speed and then stay there. It just makes it a little bit harder to whip it around rocks since the turn rate is not incredible. Yeah, it's a nice little high explosive impact warhead, although I can choose other options. So if I wanted to go with a high explosive kinetic penetrator, it would turn the missile from just a large blob of high explosives into something that is now trying to pierce through the enemy ship kind of like a dart. So these can be quite devastating when you get them down the nose of an enemy ship, although if you are getting them on a side shot, it'll be much less effective since it'll just horribly overpenetrate and just zoom out the other side. So let's revert our changes there and go back to the lobby. Just want to make sure that we load up on the OSP side, like so. Yeah. Just thinking about things that I want to toy around with. I'm pretty happy with the fleet that I've got currently. I like throwing the good old broadside case-mated guns at people because it makes me kind of feel like a pirate, or at least in the high seas, naval warfare era, 1700s or something, golden age of piracy, broadside guns. Yeah, it's very fun to kind of live up that attitude. I should definitely look at VTube Studio and see if there's a little pirate hat I can put on my head when I'm doing this. Thoughts for another time. You can see also I can change around my formations. So let's say I wanted to remove this ship from formation. This means the two of them will deploy in formation, so it's quite easy for me to maneuver them around, but you can also adjust formations in the game. So if I wanted all my ships to group up, I could assign the ship here as the leader and then position them as so. In this case, we'll select this ship as the guide and then put this one, let's say, 600 meters up. So in this case, if we look at our ship, they'll deploy in backwards because we have to decelerate. So we'll have the long line up here, and then the Ulster Falls will be our center ship, which we can then issue guide orders from. So yeah. In this case, though, we're just going to reload that because I liked the way I had it set up. So yeah. With that. Also, the fun side of the OSP is one of their unique ships, which we're going to show here. It is the container liner. So we're going to load up Boxing Day 2. So this is a only partially filled container liner, but the unique thing that the OSP does is they throw shipping container missiles at people. I've only got a few of them since this is a quality over quantity fleet, but in this case, I have quite a few cardboard boxes with very nasty missiles. So as I mentioned earlier, the cardboard box of style, big old high explosive impact warhead. You can see just by the size of this thing, there is a lot of explosive packed into it. We can punch through 131 centimeters of armor, and that does not care about facing because this just squashes itself and goes kablooey. We can deal about almost 6,000 damage per impact, so this scatters a whole bunch of explosions into the enemy ship. In this case, we have an electro-optical seeker, so it's just kind of a eyeball on the front of the missile. This is very expensive, though, at 8 points, but the shipping container, because it is a mass-producible item, it is half price for what a regular missile would be. So if I was to try and build this on a size 3 torpedo or something like that, it would be a lot more expensive. But luckily, the shipping containers are cheap. So in this case, I haven't used this ship for a while, but containering people is a lot of fun, at least on the giving side. On the receiving side, it's a little bit less fun because your ship is rapidly subjected to point defense tests. One of the best tests to do is to get a shipping container player to throw a test salvo at your ship, and then you can see if the point defense is good enough or not. Yep. Anyways, let's go back to our lobby with that. And just really quickly select, where was it? Here we go, broadside 450. In this case, we're just waiting for 7 out of 8, so I'm going to say the old magic words. Anyone have a 6K? These magic words, because normally you command 3,000 points. This makes somebody ask, oh, well, I've got 6,000 point fleet. I can command 2 fleets worth of stuff. And as soon as you ask anyone have a 6K, another player will instantly join the game right about now. Okay, I missed my mark. Right about now. And now. Okay, maybe my wizard math is a little bit off, but either way, typically when people see a 7 out of 8 game, they will join quickly since, 8-player map. So, got a nice little mixed fleet here. So we see Pyrope is bringing a bunch of torpedo bulk freighters here, which have a devastating amount of missile firepower. But again, they lack backup guns, so we'll have to deal with that since, torpedoes, if the enemy point defense is too strong, it's a little bit much for us. You see Chio here bringing a classic Ocello pair, a bunch of them with the Mark 66 cannon, so very big 450 guns. I don't know what the enemy team is bringing. You can see their names of their fleets and stuff is dotted out here, but we'll salute that call. Give the ritual 5 minutes and sacrifice a voxel on the altar to spread space oil. So, there we go. It worked. Ah. say I was just a little bit off on my timing. Anyways. Let's go ahead and show off our fleets. And show fleets. And ready up. We'd be playing on Yukon. So in my case, I'm going to try and show off the long-range search potential that the OSP has. They have the ability to spot the ANS typically first, but the ANS has a module which can detect radar signals, so that can give them some counterintelligence. It's fun playing the little electronic warfare information battle, because ships, if you just enter the radar range, it will not immediately detect the ship. You have to see if they are big enough to get returns. So if you're a small little shuttle or corvette, there's a good chance that you won't be detected at the enemy's max range. You can probably sneak by some of their stuff and then get closer. And if you're using rocks and other cover effectively, you can sometimes get right up on them and then deliver a devastating knockout blow with a torpedo or rocket strike. Anyways, don't know what Drury's bringing, but we're going to hope it's good. Yes, Drury fleet. Yeah. See some promotions going off here. So you can see the different ranks. So as you play the game some more, you will get little points put it. In this case, I am a captain. Pyrope is a commodore, which I believe is the current highest rank. And we see some other ranks like lieutenant and lieutenant commander showing up here. Got a couple of observer spectators. So should be fun. In this case, they're just looking for the different maps available. We might end up playing a 5v5, given that we have 10 players in the channel here, but I'm fine with either. Yeah. Another big sippy of water. Okay, so we're going to go to one of the other maps called Sailor. Or Sailor. Sailor. It's a big old iceberg in space. So watch out, Titanic. It's bad news for you. The powdered donut. It does kind of look like a powdered donut now that I think about it. Go. Chi-sun or double sun? Are you talking for your fleet or for mine? Oh, for the torpedoes, I would say go with the half and half. That way you've got a bit of speed, but also some maneuverability when you need to get around or stop. Yeah. Also, sun drives are very made of paper, so a lucky shot could end up disabling you if you had two of them. Hotel ready up. So sometimes we have the old Nebulous lobby fleet command. Yeah. The enemy team is coordinating their stuff. Dr. Lemon just has to load the Sailor map mod. So, all right. In this case, you can see our team is fully readied by all of our green dots, although the enemy team is going there. Gotta load the map. Tell them that. See, Pyrope's got the Isekai truck here, the bulk freighter with torpedoes. We have our Ocello pair. We have a mass driver bulk freighter, along with looks like a mine laying and plasma cargo feeder. Got a little bit of mixed fleet here, along with, I believe, yep. So they've got their spotting methodology here. Bloodhound on the mass driver ship. So, vote kick maybe. So we don't want to spend too long in the lobby since we've already been here for a hot minute. So we're going to just unfortunately have to vote kick them. But, well, it's generally good practice to not go AFK in the lobby. Although, if they come back, they come back. So, and lastly, we have Sir Boomlover over here with a good old-fashioned tug swarm. Mixture of casemate 250s like we were building on our tug earlier. And also a missile launcher 3, which is a nasty torpedo strike. So, gonna issue another kick order there since we didn't unfortunately get enough votes. Hopefully we'll get one more vote, and there we go, democracy in action. So we'll just wait for a final player to show up. Oop. In this case, we got one instantly, so load up and go there. Yeah. Tell them to ready up. Pretty good lobby here. We've got a bunch of various sort of high ranks, people who have played the game as much as I have. I think I got about 700 hours in Nebulous to get to the captain rank, so it's a game that you can slog a bunch of hours into. Ranks don't actually really mean anything. They're just kind of a cosmetic thing, but still it feels nice to call yourself captain or commodore or lieutenant or something. Oop. In case Mobius unready there for a second, so they're just selecting a fleet. There we are. Go, go! Taking the big sip of water. Alright, let's load into the old iceberg vest. Despite being an iceberg, there's a abnormal lack of lettuce. So, don't know what that's all about, but just waiting on the other players now. I'll show you some of the other tricks the OSP can field. Since last game we played with bulk freighters firing a lot of small guns, now we're going to bring out the real big guns with the 450 cannons. Hopefully we'll find a battleship or an Axford heavy cruiser to shoot at, and we will, well, have to play it by ear from there. There's the possibility that the enemy team could have brought all small ships, such as a mass swarm of frigates or corvettes, but in that case, then we can just delegate ourselves to trying to cap points and hold them, since I don't believe that they will have the ability to kill us with those. In any case, we're going to go up here towards the sea point with our fleet, so we're going to deploy the Prairie Bazaar to cap it. I'm going to send the Crimson Garden up top here to get radar coverage. I'm going to set our main ships to go around the outside here on the sort of right. I'm going to have our two little rocket shuttles go along with, since I don't really have anything else for them to do. I might send one down here, actually. So, in this case, we're going to send the Outwitch Ranch towards the B point. I believe the B point is slightly on their side of the map. The D and B point are generally the kind of outside edge contesting. In this case, C is our natural, and E is theirs. The A point is a interesting little midsection. So, actually, I'm going to change my plan a little. I'm going to send my, there we go. I'm going to send a rocket shuttle to C and B, and then the A point is going to be my little shuttle that is only 106 points. So, hopefully, that will get us the advantage and force them to come cap it. Yeah. Chris Stack, welcome to the stream. Oh, well. Did I hear an oh, well? Oh, well. What's this? Ooh, woo. I entertained myself. Anyways, welcome to the stream. Pull up the share. Just deploying in now into some Nebulous Fleet Command, and we're going to see what happens from here. You can see my nice little pairing of bulk freighters coming in now, with their engines burning as they hit the old retro thrusters, trying to slow down from the, I believe it's not faster than light, but the go fast sort of like super drive that's in this game. I'd have to check the lore again exactly on how the burning works for that, but either way,
Aye, aye, Commander.
I'm going to issue an order for our fleets to move around here. Just hitting the old hotkeys for this stuff. Since I don't expect the ship to live very long, I'm just going to order flank to be used. They're just going to burn for best speed. In this case, we're going to go towards the C point. And this one is going to go, I'm going to use a waypoint here and here.
We'll be there before you know.
And yeah. So these shuttles are not going to last very long, but they are also very cheap. So I'd much rather use them than any of my bigger ships. We're going to activate our early warning radar here. As you can see, the very big blue kind of cone is represented by that search radar going off here. So if I see the enemy, you can see one of my allies has the same idea. We should be able to get a good lock on them. Although, of course, at this range, we will only be detecting the biggest of ships. I'm also going to align the Bloodhound radar, which we see as a much narrower cone compared to our search radar. These two work very well in tandem, since I can search with the big early warning radar and then get a very accurate lock with the Bloodhound on the front of the ship. Although I do have to turn the whole ship in order to do that. I'm going to preemptively set the heading roughly that direction. Anyways, we're going to be moving our ships up along here. I'm going to issue the heading command on this one and do the same trick that we saw last time. So, loose formation, holding fire. Going to zero our guns towards, how about here-ish? That looks kind of good. I can see the orange line giving me the elevation marker. So we're going to zero our guns there and move about like so downwards. I'm expecting them to be heading up here to contest the D point, but it's also possible they could go low to the B point, so we're going to be playing flexible near the mid.
Standing by.
We're just going to drop our altitude here to try and meet up with our friendly fleet. As you see, none of our ships are detected. If they are detected, they will have a little yellow, I want to say chevron is the best word to describe it. Here we see a nice little pairing. So in this case, we have the mighty Tug Swarm with all of its little guns and our ability to jam the enemy using electronic warfare dishes here. These are called Bellbirds, mounted on a tiny little shuttle. These are pairing up to escort our much larger Ocello command cruisers. So these have a omnidirectional jammer on the back of them. And this is the communications jammer. So this is very good insurance against missile strikes. The two of them have very nasty potential together, since this is 6,000 points of, well, kind of all bases covered being moved towards the D point.
Standing by.
Now, we're going to check on our little A-capper here. Moving at best speed, it's cruising along at 52.5 meters a second, so zoomies.
Orders.
In this case, Pyrope. Where did Pyrope go? Here it is. The old Isekai truck, which is a torpedo bulker. A bit of a risky ship, but one that is absolutely devastating when it gets the surprise on you. It is able to, well, as the name implies, it isekais people, much as the way a truck does. And, well, we might see somebody get turned into a new anime protagonist this game, depending on how things go. One second.
We're reading you.
Nick, go ahead to sneeze.
Go ahead, Command.
Okay, so we're going to be flying down low here. We see the E point has been capped.
Orders, Commander.
We're trying to get to the A point. Going to issue the preemptive kind of spinning around orders here. And a little bit of elevation too.
Course laid in.
In this case, we may be joined eventually by one of our allies here. Oh, we can see now we are being tracked. So we're going to go to this ship and take a look at what's where. In this case, we saw that there was something with a track here, so we're going to burn the best speed that we can. Use a hold fire order. And we're just going to rocket that thing as soon as we get close.
Taking fire.
Oop.
She can't take anymore. Abandon ship.
What the?
Punching
Oh
out,
dear.
Command.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so in this case, they sent some missiles after our C point here, which knocked out 2 of our ships before we could do anything. That's rather unfortunate, since we kind of needed those in order to spot the enemy. So without that, we're going to have to rely on our allies to provide us a good lock. You see us taking a lot of fire here from RPF. I'm going to issue a emergency rocket fire order here, hoping for the best, because I don't think I'm going to live very long here.
Moving on your waypoint.
Gonna hope some of our rockets will hit. They have a defender turret, so I'm doubting it. Yep, unfortunately, we lost our rocket shuttle there, since there's much more enemy fleet, but now we know where they are roughly, so that said, we're going to go ahead and take a look what's over here. Little Sprinter Corvette, another Sprinter Corvette. Given that I know there's a bunch of big ship down here, I'm going to issue my fire order downwards this way to pre-aim myself.
Beginning the attack.
Then, let's see. Okay, so luckily our A-capper is still alive here. I'm going to slow it down a little bit, trying to contest here. Fortunately, I don't have anything to kill off this Sprinter, because this is a fairly naked ship, but it is forcing the enemy to go forwards. So, in this case, most of my escorts being trimmed off here, a lot of RPF rounds being shot into here, so I'm going to assume that these are either a big old swarm of frigates or a little light cruiser swarm.
Power restored.
Oh, you tuning out, Sarah? Okay, see you. Have a good one.
Commander.
In this case, we're going to try and prevent ourselves being spotted by going closer to the rock here, burning the old flank speed.
At the ready, Commander.
Going to make the enemy think that I'm going down this way. By doing this, and we'll go ahead and drop a decoy launch like so. And then I guess just send it over this way. There we go.
Firing a missile.
Gonna fire another one like that. Oop, unfortunately, that's a reactor balloon going off there, so if I was too close to that, I might have taken some damage to my ship's armor.
Taking internal damage.
There we go.
Sending it.
See, the A-capper ship here is getting hit very badly. Not much we can really do about that, although our opponent here is also getting danced on.
5 by
So
5.
there we are. Trying to get closer to the rock here. I'm not sure whereabouts they exactly see me from, so
Moving out.
just gonna keep the oop. Oh,
We have secured Zone Dagger.
okay. Need to launch the old decoys here, so I'm gonna launch decoys going down the mid section, trying to make it look like we're going that way.
Missile out.
Then gonna fire some more of these as well. Hopefully the enemy will be fooled by some of these.
We're in their sights.
Then we'll fire again. Top here.
The enemy secured Zone Atlas.
Going over, doing a little bit of silly pathing like so.
Missile out.
And with any luck, they won't know which one of these is real. And we'll be able to freely move about the map. Because they just show up as bulk
Outgoing
raiders.
missile.
Okay, that's a lot of missiles. Woof. See a whole bunch of the size 2 missiles here with their active radar passive wake
Outgoing
validation.
today, Commander.
Yeah.
Aye, aye, Commander. We're moving.
I'm not actually sure what sees me right now, which is concerning.
Send your traffic.
Because I can't really see that far.
Go
But
ahead,
in the
Commander.
mess
Running
of
out
false
missiles,
signals that I'm
Commander.
generating, hopefully one of them will be, I think there's something up here. Either way, alright, so we're capturing the D side and gonna rotate around. Since I am on my
Gotcha,
own
5
over
by
here,
5.
I want to find some, I don't know where the proper enemy fleet is currently, which is concerning.
Copy that. Moving.
Can't really see anything right now. If you look at the map, we just see there's a bunch of sprinters kind of hanging around. So we know that there's a missile ship here at the very least. See their missiles being verified here, just flying off into the abyss. They're going to go somewhere, although I do lose track of them.
Send your traffic.
Just going to stay close to the wall here and hopefully cross over to meet up with
On
my
the way,
allies.
Commander.
And with any luck, we'll be able to do something productive. Going to reset our guns
Understood.
0 point to over
Engage.
there. I'm not expecting to get rotated on from below, but it's entirely possible. Ooh, okay, that's friendly here, or was
Send your
friendly.
traffic.
So, gonna go
Copy
across.
that. Moving.
Yep. Unfortunately, we see a bunch of missiles coming after us here, but luckily they are going after the wrong targets. Yeah, see all of those being spoofed onto our decoy containers here.
Spike ready, Commander.
I'm gonna just turn off my radars in case they seek after me.
Got you 5 by 5.
Which they are zooming all over the place, confused. Awesome.
Got you 5 by 5.
See me also popping some chaff here. Oh, good here. Where am I being shot from? Ah, there we are. An
At the
Exford.
ready, Commander.
Fortunately, that's a little far away for us to
Rounds
hit.
incoming.
Gonna the
Missile
old
inbound.
flank engines here. Oh dear. All right, and turn on the radars. Let's see, what do we got? You.
Stop possible.
Ah, dang. Unfortunately,
Got you
we
5
are
by 5.
engaged on here, so we're gonna have to quickly get behind cover again, since
The
we
ship's
can't
been
see the enemy.
damaged.
Ow, 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 ow. Taking rail fire from above. Have to quickly
Aye, aye,
try and get
Commander.
back in cover, since that hurts a lot.
Got you
Ouch.
5 by 5.
I'm pinned in.
Got a lock on
Out.
us.
Gonna try and hide behind my
Aye, aye,
rock
Commander.
again, since
Remember, it's slow power.
yeah, you can see they've got jamming
traffic.
going after me here with those lobs.
Got you 5
And
by
let's
5.
see, our reactor has unfortunately been hit, so that is reducing our efficiency here. Enemies' rail fire from up high is very
Go
good at
ahead,
inflicting
Command.
critical hits, which, well, they disable my ships decently well. They don't typically kill stuff, although there's a whole bunch of debuffs, such as we see in the power plant here. We got a main bus short, which halves the power output. So
How can we
we're
help
going to be,
today,
unfortunately, stuck for the moment. Trying to do
Go
what
ahead,
we can
Command.
here. So in any case,
Commander? Moving out.
going to once again fire off more decoys, making them think that I'm going a way that I'm not.
Sending
Like so. And so.
it. Missile out.
Missile route is probably going to go after me, so I'm
Aye,
just
aye.
going to turn off
Full
my
power.
radars. Like this, and pop some
Aye, aye.
chaff, since I can. Hopefully that will seduce the enemy.
Power fully
See,
restored.
these are active radar seekers, so that is good that I turned off my radars, because now those active radar seekers have
Go
nothing to
ahead,
look at.
Command. We've spent most of our missiles. Full power. Aye, aye, Commander.
Popping in more chaff.
Send your traffic.
Popping lots of chaff here. There we go. Chaff deployed. As we see now. Yep. Whole bunch of them got seduced onto the wrong target, so we managed to evade most of that missile volley.
Aye, aye. Full power.
I say most because, well, we still have yet to receive the last of it.
Spiker on the sky. Aye, aye, Commander.
All right. Anyways, we're going to turn our radars back on then. Oop. Turn them off again. That was close. You saw I turned on my radars there, and the missile's radar seeker activated and went after me. But in any case now, our decoy's in position. We need to just quickly assess the battlefield and figure out what can we fight. I'm going to mark this as a priority since it is the centerpiece Axford of this sprinter fleet. Yeah. Ah, there we go. A battleship.
Send your traffic.
Going to mark this and call it out. 5023 Rail BB. All right. Let's see what's going on down below. So here we can see the Isekai truck here is getting a little bit cooked by a reactor det.
Got you 5 by 5.
Unfortunate, but happens. I would love to engage on that battleship, but unfortunately I just don't have the means to. So
on the way, Commander.
I'm going to instead go upwards a little bit here. Issue a
5 by 5.
change to our formation.
Aye, aye.
Trying to get them a little more in line, as it were.
Aye, aye,
this way I can crest over the top and then hopefully move laterally. I'm assuming that there's going to be enemies below me, since I saw there was a bunch of ships down here before that I think moved towards the A point. Oh, we see a bunch of missiles going after the Isekai truck, so it may not be long for this world. We're going to see how good the point defense is. Let's see a missile coming in here. Oh, unfortunately, one hit, and it's going to be 2, 3, 4. Rough.
Got you 5 by 5.
Either way, we're going to look back to our fleet and what we can do here. So in our case, there is... Oh, dear. That is a little sprinter. 1002 sprinter back cap. I have no small guns.
They've got a lock on us.
Alright, so unfortunately, we are being locked on here by the enemy, and I don't really have a good tool to use against it. Okay.
5 by 5.
Keystone is almost in gun range. Might be able to get a hit on that, so we're going to try and issue our fire orders.
Copy that. Moving. Go ahead, Command.
Actually, I think it might be in our best interest to control the back point. So, in case I very much lack a effective weapon to use against this small ship. So, we're going to just try and issue a flipping fire order here. We're actually going to split off our ships since we don't need to be in a formation right now. Going to have one of you go after that. Oops, that keystone is dead.
At the ready, Commander.
To kill order. There we are. That frees us up to do other things. So we're going to again zero our guns back over this direction. And as for you, you are going to go ahead and lock onto that one in a second. Oops. You're doing a weird rotation here. Sometimes bulk freighters do whatever they want, so you have to account for that and issue it to try and roll. Hopefully something will poke its way up at me. Speeding on the spot here, issuing our heading command. Trying to spin this thing like a rotisserie chicken. There we are.
We can't reach that far.
Good to keep rolling itself.
It'll be done, Commander.
Any luck, I'll be able to get a good shot on this sprinter in a second once I'm done finagling this. Here we see our C point kind of blew up there. I should be able to get a shot. Yep. Now then, we have gotten a lock on the enemy ship here. It has no armor, not that it had any to begin with. But our 450s are not very effective against small targets like this, since they are, again, so small. We just kind of over-penetrate their armor, and the round goes at the other side before actually detonating.
The enemy is securing zone eclipse.
Bit of a downside, but something we'll have to deal with. Anyways, trying to get a lock here as best we can.
At the ready, Commander.
Frigate swarm, okay. See a bunch of the enemy launching missiles and stuff here. Rather concerning. Ugh. That is quite the swarm of frigates. It's a missile swarm primarily. You can see a whole bunch of the missile launchers here, as that one just takes a torpedo to the side. Nice hit, Pi.
Got you 5 by 5.
We'll just be maneuvering ourselves and trying our best to get at this little sprinter that is
Go ahead, Command.
peppering us and being annoying. Yeah.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Rather than
We're
flip
moving.
my entire fleet
Go ahead,
around, I
Command.
want to try and provide what fire support I can to the locations
Send
that I'm
your
able.
traffic.
You can see those, fortunately, I
Send your
don't really
traffic.
have the ability to attack those. Trying to get a ping here. Struggling. Believe that I would love to engage these voxels,
Send
but
your traffic. Send your traffic.
in this case, I'm just trying to hang back and play defensively,
At the
guarding
ready,
our
Commander.
point. So,
Moving out.
in case we see the sprinter again,
Go ahead,
not having
Command.
much luck hitting that thing, so
Aye, aye.
Yeah.
Full power. We're
we're
under
just going to
attack,
move
Commander.
ourselves
Aye,
up while we can.
Full power. Go ahead, Command.
Fortunately, outside of our gun range, which is about 11
Admiral
kilometers,
today,
so
Commander.
we're just going to have to chill for now.
Aye, aye. Full power.
Issue hold fire order and zero those guns again at that about area, more or less.
Understood.
Since we just have to control this point.
Copy
yeah.
that. Moving. Go ahead, Command. At the ready, Commander.
In any case, I think it's fairly safe for us to move down to the B point now, which we're going to try and do. Like so.
Aye, aye. Full power. Got you 5 by 5.
Gonna reset the heading order, like so.
Aye,
There
aye.
we go. Yeah, unfortunately, with the way the map has kind of played out, there's not really
Got
much
you
for me to
5
do
by
here,
5.
except try and get a shot on that
Send your
ACAP
traffic.
sprinter. Actually, might be a better use of my time. Yeah, we're gonna go after that thing.
Aye, aye, Commander. We're moving.
In any case, we have controlled the C point, and we're able to sit one of our ships here and hold on to it. I don't know where their little sprinter went, so I'm going to assume that it's on the other side of the rock here, and zero my guns at
Understood.
that point, more
Engage.
or less. There we go. See myself trying to get towards these
Got
voxels
you
here,
5 by 5.
are a good ways away. Issue fire order. See, now something can see me, but I can't really see it, which is concerning.
At the ready,
I don't
Commander.
like that. Generally, if something spots you, it means that
Admiral
it's
today, Commander.
approaching weapons range. So, mild concerns on that. A little bit laggy here since I'm trying to render a very large map, and also there's a lot of stuff going on. Here we can see plasma coming off of our little monitor here, cargo feeding device. These voxels instead electing to go for the E point here.
Send your traffic. Send your traffic.
Fortunately, I am required to kind of keep an eye on
On
this
the
point,
way,
so I'm just going to
Commander.
maneuver myself close
Copy
to it,
that.
but not
Moving.
immediately jump.
Got you 5 by 5. Copy
You
that.
can see
Moving.
now the Voxes down here
the ready,
are
Commander.
still, unfortunately,
They've got a
just out of
lock on
weapons
us.
range. I might be able to get a shot on that one if I'm smart. Either way, we're going to hope that we get that
Aye, aye.
B cap here
Full power.
with our monitor, since it has very tough armor, which the Voxels will have to punch through. It's also shedding mines under the point, so they'll have to clear those out.
Send your traffic.
All right. So again, not sure where that enemy sprinter went, but I don't believe that I killed it. So we're just
Go
going to have
ahead,
to keep
Command.
an eye out for that. In this case, we see a sprinter there,
At the ready,
and I'm being
Commander.
jammed by something or other. How are you? You are annoying is what you are,
Got
so
you
we're just
5
going to
by
lock onto
5.
you and
Understood.
fire.
Engaging.
See my fire control radar bringing itself to bear along with our guns,
shooting
and then
at
we're
us.
going to tell them to fire.
We are securing zone
Not really much else for the ship to do at the moment, so
Send your traffic.
this case, again, keeping myself fairly zeroed, but also trying to
Aye, aye.
safeguard this
Full
cap
power.
point by keeping my guns angled the way that I want them to be.
Ship's powers are on. Roger that.
Oop. In this case, unfortunately, I got a hit to the reactor from that
Admiral
rail
today,
fleet,
Commander.
so I'm going to have to really burn to try and find some cover here. That's what we're
Aye,
going to
aye.
do.
Full power.
Yes. Fortunately, the rail Solomon is able to
Can't
get
do
some
it,
good hits on
Commander.
us. See if I can't. Nope. Unfortunately, no way I'm getting enough power for that, so we're just going to have
Go
to
ahead, Commander.
eyeball these shots. Yeah. Set myself to
Moving
fly
out.
evasively, trying to dodge whatever shots I can, so this will make the ship jitter back and forth.
Go ahead, Command.
Used to play EVE Online, so I bought this. It's pretty cool. Yep. It's a lot to learn, and man the ramparts. Yeah,
Send your traffic.
Neb has a lot of depth to it, although you can also play it fairly shallow, if that makes any sense.
At the ready.
In this
Commander.
case, I'm doing a bit of complicated stuff, trying to keep my bulk freighters
Go
facing
ahead,
the right
Command.
directions, using some tricks like holding my fire orders and
Send your
positioning.
traffic.
Unfortunately, I lost most of my fleet, so I'm really kind of spitting in the wind here, trying to get any good hits on this.
Moving out.
Just going to issue a hold fire order. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Very good game. Would recommend to a friend. Although, unfortunately, I am taking rail shots from a Solomon right now, which I really don't like. They're not actually killing anything. Well, okay, they knocked out the bunk beds, but in this case, I've just got a bunch of annoying little chip damages built up, so.
We lost a component.
Yeah, Rail Solomon is doing Rail Solomon things. Luckily, it has not provided too much value for them this game.
Today, Commander.
Might have to
Aye,
risk
Commander.
the C
We're
point
moving.
here.
At the ready, Commander.
In this case, we see the B point is still held by the enemy, so in case, since we can't hit that one, we're going to change our fire order over somewhere else.
Understood. Engaging.
Hopefully, we can get the B point as well.
Aye, aye.
I think I might just
Full
have to
power.
bite the bullet and assume that that C point ship is gone. At the same time, they're probably banking on me doing that,
At
so
the ready,
that's why I've
Commander.
kept this this bulk freighter trained to this rock, because I'm assuming they're going to sneak out from behind it and then try and
Send
backcap me.
traffic.
I have to try and think on my feet. Okay, going to turn off the
Got you,
flank
5 by
engines
5.
since we are out of danger for the moment. Going to change our 0 down here, since I know there's a trio of Vauxhall light
Let's be
cruisers
under range,
kind of
Commander.
popping around here. See if we can't find them.
Send your
In this case, the
traffic.
bulk freighter will roll itself over and bring its casemates to bear.
Got you 5 by 5.
Again, I'm still assuming that there's going to be some ship up here, and I'm really
Bringing on
paranoid
power.
about it. Anyway, we're off radar
Got
for
you
a moment.
5 by 5. How can
All
we
right.
help today, Commander?
Well, if it's there, it's going to be there. We're just going to have
Aye,
to
aye,
risk it. I
Commander.
want to bring my guns forward facing so that I can get a
It'll be
good
done,
shot
Commander.
onto the Vauxhalls that I'm banking on being there. See if we can't order this thing to
Can't
roll
reach that
properly.
far. Aye,
Okay.
aye.
In this case, we see a enemy ship appearing here, which we're going to assume.
Securing
That's
power.
quite a. Oh, what do we have here? Okay, that's a sprinter getting chewed up by our tug swarm. Very good to see. Excellent.
That's too
In this
far
case, we're
from
going
us.
to quickly try
On
and
the
get
way,
close enough
Commander.
here to fire on them
Take 'em out.
and fire for effect. Yeah.
Begin. Aye, aye, Commander. We're moving.
All right. There we are. Vauxhall light
traffic.
cruisers spotted. Enemy engaged.
Aye, aye.
Hit 'em, boys.
Power.
Light 'em up. In this case, the gun's facing the complete wrong direction, so we have to
Take 'em out.
try and fix this one for a second.
Aye,
Gotta
aye.
tell it to stop moving. It is being a little bit stupid. Sometimes getting bulk
be
freighters
done,
to shoot at
Commander.
what you want is a bit hard. We're going to try and go for the B point here,
Moving
actually.
out.
There we are.
Aye, aye. Full power.
Might be eating some missiles
Send
here,
your
so
traffic.
either way.
Send your traffic.
The fire order
Take
there
it out.
now. We can see ourselves getting a nice little broadside presented
Got you,
towards us,
5
so we're
by
going to be
5.
chewing up these things as best we can. In case our allies are targeting
Got
that
you,
one, so we're
5 by
going to do the
5.
same.
Zeroing in.
Yeah.
Send your traffic.
Next, we're going to burn flank speed to
Send
try
your
and get to
traffic.
the B point.
Go ahead, Command.
C point is still secure. There we are.
The enemy secures
Issue the
Beginning the
fire order
attack.
and cook ourselves over to B point.
On the
Yeah.
way, Commander.
Our guns are about to reload and unleash a devastating salvo into the broadside of these light cruisers. Light cruisers are pretty tough from the front, but from the sides they are, well, we're about to see just how fast they go down to
Got
a
us
nice
dialed
old
in.
broadside. Bam, bam. You tried suicidal torpedo corvettes first. A++. Everything died, especially me. Yep. They are
Go
quite
ahead,
powerful,
Command.
but they do come with some caveats.
Got you 5 by
Okay, so
5.
now we're going to try and keep our lock on this one.
Firing solution. Rounds got you 5
I
by
believe that,
5.
yep, unfortunately they are jamming us here, so our accuracy is going to suffer.
Go ahead, Command.
But in a second,
It'll
can we
be
get a
done,
lock on
Commander.
you?
Ship's been damaged. Beginning
we're
the
going to try
attack.
and get a lock and tell them to fire
ahead,
for
Command.
effect. In this case, we're close enough that their jamming is ineffective against us, so we are able to just fire everything we got. All right. Let's see, what's on the back slots of these? Just missile launchers? That's okay.
At the ready, Commander.
We're just going to pound the snot out of them with whatever we got
Beginning the attack.
and hope for the best. Yeah.
We are securing zone dagger.
On the way, Commander.
Trying to issue orders here.
Copy
Unfortunately,
that.
again,
Moving.
another main bus short. Dang.
Got you 5
I really
by
like
5.
knocking out my power.
Go ahead, Command. Commander. Ready for orders.
Either way, though,
Got one
we are
on
bringing
us.
our guns to bear on target. They are shooting us with 250, which is annoying, but is not going to kill us. So we're able to push them back here pretty effectively while we take the B
Ready
point.
taking shots at us. On the way.
Just gonna move ourselves
aye.
down like
Full
so.
power.
We are securing
Unfortunately, our guns are reloading, which will take a little bit of time. They're able to get some repairs in the meantime. Still, we're going to try our best, setting our headings here real quick. Yep. There you go.
Copy that.
Then in a second, we should see some more gunfire fly towards these voxels. I don't believe they've had time to rotate and get their facing towards us. They are also having to engage on... Oh, never mind. Our allied fleet has moved off here, so we are just going to fire whatever we got. Yeah.
We're losing modules.
In this case, we're going to try and knock out one of them real quick. Bam, 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 bam.
Loud and clear.
Fortunately, we lost our gun plotting center, so we're not going to be able to get the most accurate shots. Still, all of our guns are operational, and the enemy is going to really quickly feel the pain here. So you should be on the point in a second, so we're going to issue a change to our positioning, like so. You're going to go here. Now our power is back online, meaning all of our modules are able to come into effect, the intact ones anyways. I'm going to issue a priority order on this one, since it's the guy that I'm firing on the most. Ideally, want to try and kill one of these ships. So, you see, still annoying jamming going on here. Nope, they're unfortunately knocking out more of our stuff. We need to keep our magazine online and our damage control lockers as well, since we are taking a bit of a beating here.
We have you loud and clear.
In this case, I'm going to issue a change of my fire orders onto that one, since this ship does not appear to be a threat anymore. Let's quickly jigger ourselves around here. Going to do a trick called orbit dodging, where we issue a orbit command, and then try and keep going with that. And there we go.
We're a bit busy, Commander.
Going to try and do the same thing here as we issue another orbit, like so. This allows us to move in a non-linear or moves in a different direction than straight. So we're going to go with that.
We have secured
Keep
zone
firing.
Try and fire our guns on target. There we go.
We're a bit busy,
Fortunately, again, still taking some damage to our various sections, so we're going to have to restore our DC lockers and try and fix those. Wrong locker. Keep our CIC and guns online. Best we can. Ooh. Unfortunately, we lost both CICs for a second there, so we're going to have to try and focus fire down one of these voxels. You can see we're getting some good hits on target, but again, our ship here, because our CICs are currently redded out, we need to repair those and get them back online as soon as we can.
Standing by,
In this case, though, we still have a voxel. Well, we got a pair of voxels trading off fire against ours. One gun on that one, so not really a threat. Gonna tell this one to shoot everything it's got as soon as it can. And same issue order to you. Though unfortunately we are out of power, so we're gonna have to restore our large locker there and go from there. Turn off flank since it can engage some damage for us, and instead we will just try and maneuver ourselves as best we can here.
Get us out of here.
See, of course the bulk freighter is a very big target, but at the same time there's a bunch of empty space that those shots can just hopefully pass right through. So
we're taking damage.
Issue again another orbit command like so.
Get us moving.
Should make us difficult to move. I think I did that wrong actually. Let me just reorder that. There we go. And then change the axis like so. That looks good enough here. Yeah, like that. There we go. Tell them to just keep firing as much as we can. Unfortunately, the enemy is now facing their bow towards us, so our shells are less effective. Oop. Oh, and we've just lost the magazine. Dang. Okay. Well, we need to try and bring as much stuff back online as possible and not lose our components.
Quickly, Commander. We're taking damage.
All right. In this case, our ship is coming back online, so we can bring the reactors back up, and I believe another gun. That should work. We've lost our radar, unfortunately, but hopefully we have allies that can spot for us. So, in this case, just going to fire on this one since it's the only thing I can actually see. And yeah, with any luck, we'll be able to hold this point. See these voxels doing very well against us, using their superior mobility and anglings to try and keep us pinned in here. But in doing so, they have given up the point, so we are probably going to win this on points. It's a little bit close here. Yep, unfortunately, we see the C point being capped here. That was the ship that I didn't quite kill, so I'm worried about. Trying to hit these voxes is giving me a little difficulty since it's a very narrow target profile. Fortunately, I am still missing power on this one. But, ooh, this one is very much torn up. Woof. Okay, we're just going to try and keep this ship alive as best we can by constantly repairing. Issuing priority repairs to our command and control and our reactor. Oh, unfortunately, they got enough rounds, plus the rails from the Solomon giving us a big damage debuff there. All right, in that case, then, we're going to have to try and make do with what we got. So, in this case, just going to issue a lock order and just pump out all the shots that we have onto this thing. With any luck, we'll be able to kill at least one of their voxels. Normally, our ships are fairly effective against light cruisers like this, but again, very thin target profile, and they managed to get some good shots in jamming into us, so we're struggling a little bit against it.
We have you loud and clear.
Either way, though, we are
On the
able to
way.
hold the B point, respectively. This voxel should not be long for the world, given that it is taken so much damage. You can see all the different modules here are on fire, sparking, or otherwise destroyed.
Send it.
Let's go ahead and drop our altitude
move.
slightly. I think they're going to be coming for us in a second, so we have to worry about that.
Outgoing.
Going to issue a new fire order. Don't know if that rains is active.
Standing by, Commander.
Well, we're going to assume that it's not too
Changing
much of a threat
position.
and hope that it's not. It might go close enough to us to fire a missile, which could be bad. Yeah, we're going to
Take
assume
control.
actually that's what it's going to do, so we're going to quickly rotate our guns over and shoot as soon as it comes around that rock. Taking the big sip of water while I can. Alright, so
Send it.
now we're just going to issue a hold fire order until we get that lock, since I don't want to waste my one shot that I might have here.
Send it.
And come on and lock me. Lock. Just waiting for that lock. Come on. I actually... Is that... Oh, I see. Okay,
Ready.
well, our lock radar is actually disabled, so we're just going to eyeball this
Shots
then. Bam,
out.
bam. Yep. Unfortunately... Yep, so we can see in this case,
Ready.
they have a single missile hardpoint, but I don't think
Affirmative.
that should be a
Engaging.
problem. Either way,
Standing by, Commander.
I'm gonna try and shoot what we got.
On the move.
Ooh, actually, that's a voxel
Shots
instead.
out.
We should shoot that. Ugh. Hi,
Ready
guys.
for orders. Copy that. Coordinates received.
Don't intend to. In this case, we see them
Ready.
trying to cap our point, but we are going to
Commander,
be
we're
firing
taking
as
fire.
many
Outgoing.
shots as we can into them here. Bam, bam. In this case, we are very close, but unfortunately, our guns are not the
Send it.
most accurate, so
We're having power issues.
unfortunately, we are losing power
I
here.
can't do that.
So we need to fix our reactor
Ready.
as soon as possible. I'm going to issue a fire order onto this one since
Commander,
we
we're
have a
taking
lock on it,
damage.
and we can
Ready.
actually hit that reasonably well. Plus, since our guns are out of power, we can't really do anything
We're
about that.
losing modules. Ready.
Luckily, they are all shooting at me instead of my allies, who are about to come in and absolutely
They knocked
floor
out
them,
a module
I
plotted.
hope.
Commander, we're taking damage.
We're losing a lot of stuff here, which is less than
Component
ideal.
destroyed.
You can see many of our guns going down
We're
here as they have gotten very
damaged.
close and are kind of knife fighting with us. Oh, and we're doing a little bit of ramming there. Ramming doesn't deal any damage, although it does look funny. Just need to fix the CIC now, ideally, and keep our power up, because if our CIC goes down, they can cap
All
this
hands,
point.
abandon
Ah,
ship.
damn. So, unfortunately, in this case, they got the last shot into my CIC, so that means that my ships are all out. It's very unfortunate early on losing my scouting ship here, the Crimson Gardens, which is, well, it's not here anymore because its reactors went off. It meant that my ships did not have the long-range locks that I wanted to try and shoot stuff from 11 kilometers. And then I tried to pick a fight with a more nimble foe who was able to better exploit the positioning advantage that they got. And, well, they're just going to shoot into my ship now, and with any luck, the drive will go off and take a bunch of them with it. So, for now, though, game is pretty close. They're probably going to win this on points, but still, very close game either way. Just did not expect to get so many of my ships removed by missiles in the early game, so. Alrighty. Yeah, this voxel, unfortunately, because our ship is abandoned now, we don't get a visual on it, but we know that these ships are pretty torn up, so with any luck, our tugs will be able to get a little more damage, but I think the enemy is going to win on cap points since they're about to cap the 4th point from us, so. Still, you can see the tugs giving it their all, firing what shots they can. There's rail fire from that battleship going into our electronic warfare shuttle here, which I think is a bit of a waste, honestly, because like, if you consider what you want to knock out here, you have the guns that can actually kill stuff versus the electronic warfare, which will just annoy. So, give them the old GG in chat. Boy, they're about to cap out in the next, I think, just 30 seconds or so. I don't know exactly how frequently it ticks for cap points. I think it's every 10 seconds. Don't quote me on that. I'm a cat boy with approximate knowledge of many things. Knowing the exact timers is not one of them. Watch as the voxels here struggle to bring what guns they have to bear. Yeah. We see one last tick about to seal the game in the next 10 seconds or so. And there it is. So, game over. Unfortunately, we lost on points, but still, I felt like we gave it a good effort. Always happy to see a game that's pretty close like this. We had some more points. We might have been able to drag it back, but still, ANS played well. Very close match. Yes, it was. Unfortunately, I got really sandbagged in the early game because I lost, like, most of my supporting fleets. Yeah, you can see here at, like, the 3-4 minute mark, I lost my early units. And then that really hampered my ability to bring my 450 fire on target because without the Bloodhound lock, oh, it doesn't actually show here. Without the Bloodhound lock, I wasn't able to get a good, well, a good track. So that meant that my 450 shots just were kind of all over the place for most of the game. Let's see. So the enemy brought, you see a nice little build here. Heavy cruiser as command ship, backed up by a little support gun frigate, and then 2 smaller gun corvettes. That's a nice build. I like having a big centerpiece ship like this with the Axford and then these sort of support elements. In this case, we can see what looks to be they've got a beam destroyer along with a couple of corvettes across the place. Then looks like, yep, we got some big missile ships here. I think one of those was what killed me early on. We see these voxels able to rack up a lot of damage over time, although if the match had played out differently, I think I could have taken them in a fight. And we see a mixture of sort of smaller gunships with a bunch of missiles and some dedicated missile platforms. One of them, yeah, dedicated missile platform. So ANS brought a nice variety. Also, that rail battleship just sat in the back all game and was able to kind of do its thing. So yeah. Anyways, I think we might have time for one more. We're going to see if the lobby fills up or not. Area official modded maps on Arroyo. All right, let's see if we can't get a fast lobby. We'll try and get one more game in for 7. So, tried out our broadside 450 and our broadside 250. Let's see what else we can bring in today. There are quite a few fun builds that I like to do that are questionably effective. In this case, this is a fleet of, which I will just show you. This is a fleet of what I call missile bricks. Oop, little lag exception there. So it's got an illuminator on the front, which is a radar guidance beam, which allows our missiles, which are launched from our MLS-2s. In this case, we have a flak checker, which is, well, a missile, is able to fly at the enemy, direct cruise, or direct guidance, rather. It's very cheap at 3 points with a semi-active seeker. So this means I have to paint the enemy targets using those illuminators. And since I have 5 of them in the fleet, I can unleash a devastating salvo of missiles. I believe it's 16 per ship. So 16 times 5, real quick maths, that comes out to be, math failed me for a second there. I think that's 80 missiles at once, which is quite a lot for any point defense network to try and shoot down. So this is a fun little fleet. I think I have a better version of it. I want to try out some missiles before I end up logging off for today. Got a roll-off launcher here, similar concept. No, this might be it. I swore I had a better version of these that used, what was it, reinforced armor or something. Because there's the unfortunate nature of the size 2 missile, which is that it is very weak at only 30 health points, so it can be taken out quite well. Still, if you add hardened skin, that takes it up to 50 integrity, although it does bump the point cost by quite a bit. 5 points per missile is very expensive. So, either way, let's go back to the lobby, discarding changes, and see what else there could be. Gonna load up Arroyo, which is a fun map. Maybe instead of missiles, let's see, what do I want to run on the OSP side? I did enjoy running my broadside 250 fleet. That was very enjoyable. Ooh, I've been meaning to try this one out. Oh, unfortunately, this fleet is... So this is something I made on the test server, so unfortunately the 2 monitors who would normally be in this fleet, filling up the missing 1,000 points, aren't here, since the monitor got changed a little bit. I've got a pretty safe 450 build here using a combination of a Nacelle command cruiser and a bulk freighter. This could be worth trying out. Might have better luck this time since it's a little bit narrower of a fleet. You can see I don't have the supporting shuttle elements, but I do have a big old command cruiser with a lot of missile defense in the form of Auroras. So, yeah. Pretty standard stuff here. I might bump the drive to a different type. I'm not sure. So you run at about 19 and you run at 18. Okay. Let's see if I can't go with a Ooh, a Raider drive. That lets me quickly move around. Extra linear thrust means that I can move up, down, left, right, front, back a lot. So I'm going to try this out. Normally I run the Dragonfly drive since it gives me a bit of turn and angular thrust, so my ship can pitch up and down and roll to the left and right faster. Either way, similar story as before. We have our little scouting tug here. I don't know why I have those on it, but I do. I might go ahead and change around this thing's missiles. So we're going to remove these from the fleet. We're going to add on our dummy missile. I'm going to add into this our dummy missile and then say 3 units of chaff just in case. We'll save that. The old Tours of Dune over here. We've got a nice little mixture of point defense turrets and other supportive modules. Let's see. Looking forward to ships and fleet fitting. Yeah. Come on by if you want. I've got a whole bunch of flak turrets on this, along with 1 grazer. I'm trying to remember why this thing is struggling so much with power. Did I not put a boosted reactor in? No, I did. Okay. It's been a little bit since I've used this fleet, so I'll have to take another look at it. Let's see. 2 reinforced CICs. Checks out. 3 large damage control lockers. I might trade you out to be a reinforced, so you're a little harder to kill. There we go. Got a nice mixture of ammunitions here. Given the number of flak turrets on this thing, I'm not sure if that's enough ammo. Got 1, 2, 3 flak turrets and a grazer turret on the back. Yeah, that's why. I've got grazers here, here, and a flak turret there. I definitely will need more flak ammo, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of that. Investing a bit of our points, which means I think over here we'll take that chaff decoy off. A little bit of the old hard kill instead of the soft kill angle. So that many flak rounds should be enough for whatever missiles come my way. Just going to save the fleet here, and we'll try and roll with this. Yeah. We're just waiting on a 8th player here now, so with any luck, we'll get a game going, and then probably this will be our last one. I think a friend of mine, Doc Vivi, will be streaming later today, Nebulous as well, so we might go raid her after this. Yeah. We will see. I'm another big sip of water. Oh, and I still have more chocolate chips. Nekoboy needs his num-nums. All right. Say the summoning word. Oh, never mind. We don't even have to. All right. Drop the old ready up. Any luck, we'll get something fun. Here we see we've got 2 C-65 casemate liners coming in from our buddy Chio tank. Support fleet kind of similar to mine, where they've got the scouting tugboat with the Bloodhound track radar. They've got their good old cannons on the side here, providing a lot of firepower. I've got one of those ships in a similar arrangement, although this time I'm relying on my similar idea with the tug, although we'll see if we can actually get that some play. We've got the Inlet Font, our Ocello command cruiser with its bullseye target lock at 9 kilometers, along with its heavy point defense turrets, the Auroras, which fire little pulse lasers out. Very effective at shooting down incoming hybrid missiles, although they do have the nasty requirement to recharge between shots, as opposed to the Defenders, which just continue to spew bullets to their heart's content. Anyways, we see Tusk over here with a pair of Ocellos. Sort of similar loadout compared to mine. In this case, they've got a Interrupt and Lyrebird jammer, giving that nice little omnidirectional soft kill for missiles, along with a Bullseye and Illuminator, so they're able to spot through stuff pretty well. In this case, I've got a similar kit. The Floodlight Illuminator is nice if you're being jammed. You can shine it towards the enemy and hopefully get some better return radar pings. And yeah. Alright. Ready up. High rope. Just gonna ping her since she's in the fleet editor, toying around with the Iskai truck settings. With any luck, we'll get a good match here, and Arroya is nice for getting some long-range gun battles going, which is what our fleet is kind of lending itself towards. You can see we have a lot of 450 cannons here, so yeah, we will see. Checking OBS settings, seem to be doing pretty well here. Of course, the game does chug a little bit since Neb is still an early access game and Unity-based, so there's a couple of rendering issues you'll encounter, especially in large 5 versus 5 fights like we last saw. Sailor is a pretty big map as well, with a couple environmental particle effects, giving it that nice little sort of ice cloud look, which does make my rig chug a little bit. I do have a very good rig, but again, I'm currently streaming, so I've got OBS, VTube Studio, and a early access title with acceptable optimization running, so I'm sorry if it turns into a slideshow at certain points, but such is the nature of trying to stream Neb. I could, turn off the option that makes me a pretty kitty cat boy, but that is just unacceptable. Why would I ever do that, chat? I'm just loading into the map. This is a screenshot from a different map called Caltrop, which is, as the name might imply, a big ol' spiky rock. I guess it's technically a big ol' spiky blob of ice. I think ice technically counts as a rock, which is a strange thing to think about, but either way. Wanting to make the most of our shooting gallery, we're going to go high to the C point here and then try and shoot anyone who goes towards the B point. We've got nice point defense in the form of our Ocello command cruiser and good firepower with our bulk freighter. This is a nice little 3-ship fleet, so I shouldn't have to worry about too much micro. Plus, with the Ocello, I'm able to quickly maneuver with the new radar drive that I've installed, since it makes it go forwards and backwards, left, right, up, and down very quickly. Yeah. In this case, we can see a couple of allied fleets deploying here, the Ruby, Blackberry, and Blueberry joining us. We can see the AIA Artemis coming along, and the MSS Phobos and Deimos as well. Then a bit more of the AIA fleet over here on the right, probably going into these trenches to then maneuver around along. Aurora has these nice trenches on the map, which lets you do some interesting maneuvering around the enemy fleets without being seen. There's also, of course, the underside, and if I press Control Shift Space, I can flip the map over. Again, 3-dimensional game, so you can play the underside of the map like that, and is very fun to do because a lot of the time enemies don't expect you to come from unexpected angles playing the underside of maps like so. In either way though, we're going to play the top side for now since that's where the cap point is. Just deploying in, we can see the nice little 450 turreted barrels of our command ship. Little Aurora point defense turrets on the side and the radar panels as well. Going to quickly order our tug to move into position and have our fleet join them. So, in this case, going to issue a hold order for the Tours of Dune, trying to set it to align properly. Same goes for setting our headings here and here. Going to quickly deploy our early warning search radar, trying to find the enemy. And then on our command ship here, we're going to issue a battle short order. This means that our Auroras, wherever they are, will continue firing, although they will probably take damage after firing for too long since they will overheat. So, better to overheat your guns a little bit than it is to take a big old missile, since the missile tends to hurt a lot more. In that case, we saw a track somewhere over in that direction. So we're going to ping that. 9607 Eeg ship. I'm going to assume that that is a battleship or a Axford, since it is a very large target.
Yes, Commander.
And we are also going to bring the heading and the Bloodhound track to bear. As you can see, that is a battleship according to our radars, so we will mark that as such.
Awaiting your orders.
In case we're going to preemptively select AP rounds and load those, hoping that we can get a good shot into them.
That's too far.
We have to reload our guns here, but luckily we have plenty of time before we get close.
Awaiting your orders, Commander.
Issue our Bloodhound lock. There we go. This should be a fun little shooting gallery, as we have quite a few ships coming along with us. We can see a friendly Ocello deployed here, along with our friendly bulk freighters. 450 is generally the bane of battleships, and we have a lot of it brought to bear. In this case, we see ourselves getting that very good track quality. You can see the positional error dot jumping around just a little bit, so that's only about, I think it's a 16-meter error at 14 kilometers, which is pretty darn good. So here we see incoming enemy missiles, a bunch of them meeting their fates by our long-range point defense first. If they get any closer, then they're going to get shredded by my Ocello. So hopefully these grape shots will hit. See a bunch of them kind of going through. Yep. Pop, pop.
We have secured zone comet.
See more of them come around the bend here. So we can see now a bunch of enemy flanking ships down low here. So we're going to issue our Bloodhound to lock that instead. And since I believe that these are going to be lighter, I'm going to go like so. And actually, that's a Corvette. We don't need to hit that.
We are securing zone eclipse.
Quickly try and issue an order to engage these, since these are ARADs. You can see our point defense lasers shredding through that missile swarm, doing their job. Right, let's get our worth. So, in this case, we're going to lock and fire. We're going to do that with Bloodhound. You are weapons free, and you are... So these are AP rounds, which are not ideal against ships like this, but we're going to try it anyways.
At the ready, Commander.
We're good to issue your fire order. Next, we're going to deploy one of our decoys like so, headed towards the A point, trying to confuse the enemy. Hopefully they will fire on it instead of us.
Outgoing missile.
And I will send another one out this way. Hopefully going up and around a bit, which should throw them off. Just doing some funny spiral pathing. Uh-oh. We are being locked onto here, which is bad. So we're going to just maneuver ourselves as best we can.
Turning up the engines now.
You see myself moving around the point here evasively as I can. We can see our reins here, a frigate. We're going to try and lock onto. Moving our ships forward just a bit.
How can we help today, Commander?
All right. Switch over to the HE shells.
Done, Commander.
See a bunch of them trying to lock onto us here. So, okay, so that is a Keystone Destroyer, which we want to bring down quickly.
Yes, Commander. Incoming enemy fire. What are our orders,
What is getting shot at? So, unfortunately, we are getting shot at by a couple enemy ships here.
Engaging.
Oop, ow! There's rails. That hurts. We're going to dip down our altitude then, trying to get out of that. So,
Spiker.
have to...
Lost a component.
Moving out.
Ouch. Fortunately, you're hitting our reactor here, which kind of sucks.
Yes, Commander. We're running out of power.
Enemy rails high. So yeah, unfortunately, our Ocello is taking the brunt of these rails, which means that our reactors are getting their power plant efficiency dropped significantly. We need to quickly break ourselves out of line of sight here.
Did anyone notice the lights flicker?
You can hear the chatter of our ship going off there as the ship gets low power. Hurts quite a bit, doesn't it? Still, you can see our allies moving around the flank here as we maintain our fire onto the enemy.
That's too far.
Gonna move them up a little ways, trying to get a good shot on something or other.
Spiker.
I hear you, Command.
Hear more missiles coming up, so we're just going to dip down as far as we can here, getting behind this rock, and then hopefully repairing for a bit. You can see the point defense lasers are still able to fire, even though most of our ship is having trouble. There we go. Friendly point defense, go. Enemy fleet is falling back because we have pressured them a good chunk here. See a keystone here that we really want to hit, so we're going to lock onto it.
Aye, Commander.
Enemy sprinter as well.
Awaiting your orders, Commander.
Try and issue a lock onto that one and see if I can't get a good shot or two.
Power.
You see the allied fleet here, the various Berry ships, trying to use their small guns against that Corvette.
Awaiting your orders.
Going to give them a good lock so that they can effectively hit it. There we are.
Turning up the engines now.
We can see a bunch of missiles coming right at us, but hopefully... Oop. Yeah, okay. Whew. That was a little bit too close for comfort.
Commands on the line.
Send your traffic.
Pyrope is very angry. You heard it here, folks.
What are our orders,
We're going to just
Commander?
get
Did
these
anyone
as
have
best
commands
as
on
we
the line?
can. Locking on. Oop, I can get a lock on that one, so we're going to shoot that first. Bam, bam.
Power has been restored.
5799. Locked.
Quiet. Commands on
These
the
destroyers will hopefully not be long for the world. I think that we can start to do a bit of a advance on the flank here, since we are holding the mid.
Yes,
And move our ships up like so.
Aye. Full power.
Try and, again, confuse the enemy with more of our decoy launches, like so. And just send it off that way.
Missile out.
Let's see. So the Berry fleet taking a couple of rockets, or missiles there,
We're
rather.
a little banged up, Commander.
Bulk freighter, unfortunately, getting
Copy
taxed
that.
by that rail ship. That might be a rail battleship. I've not scouted up there for a minute. Let's see what's
You heard the
up
orders.
there. There we are. Yep, it is a rail Solomon.
Missile
So,
racks are looking pretty
gonna
sparse.
issue the attack order on that. There we are.
What are our orders, Commander?
Now we know where that is, so we can handle it. We'll signal a warning, since on the other side over here was a flanking ship, and we don't want to get
Commands on the
torpedoed.
line.
Keeping most of our fleet in formation here, trying to make the best of what we got. If we can deny the enemy their radar locks, then we won't get shot. As you can see here, the Tours of Dune took a hit toward the reactor. Very
Roger,
annoying
5
from
by
that battleship,
5.
but still. Should hold fire order in a moment.
Quiet. Commands on the line. What are our orders, Commander?
Going to be trying to move up here. You can
Our
see a
power's back
big
online.
stack of our teammates as well, providing a collective net of point defense, and we're able to bring a lot of our guns to bear, even if sometimes we might end up with some spacing issues. You can see here our ships staying in a nice little tight cluster. Although if we get too close, it does improve our increase our radar signature, so they're easier to spot.
What are our orders,
Either way, I
Commander?
think we're
You
going
heard
to
the
go ahead
orders.
and get a
Let's
lock
go.
on
Missile
that. Oop,
protected.
what do we have here? Just gonna sweep our
Right away.
sensors over to this way. Figure out what that is.
Quiet. Commands
I
on
don't
the
know
line.
what that is, but either way, it's about to eat some
Commands on the
fire. So
line.
there.
We are securing Zone Dagger.
Aye, aye, Commander.
In this case, we're going to go on the inside
On
of the
way,
rock.
Commander.
Hello. Christopher Robin here,
We hear you, Command.
trying to run. See, we've got a friendly lock there, so we're going to quickly fire on the Christopher Robin.
Target confirmed.
It'll be
so.
done, Commander.
Alright, see some sprinter corvettes around the edge. Cool.
We're underway.
Keeping our search radars going as best we can.
Right away.
Point you down a little ways more. There we are.
We're underway.
These destroyers trying to hide as best as they
What are
can,
our
but we're not going to let them. Okay, it's going to lock onto that
Aye, aye,
voxel
Commander.
in a second.
We're
Like so.
underway.
Don't want to get too close, though, since I am suspecting that there's probably beams on these in the positioning of them.
Come hear you. Engaging.
Alrighty, Winnie the Pooh, prepare to meet your maker. And yeah, fire the guns. A lot of bullets flying over now.
Awaiting your orders, Commander.
Fortunately, having some masking issues, so we're just gonna change our heading a little bit so our guns are more easily able to fire. Winnie the Pooh should not be long for this world, given that it is a destroyer and they do not have the thickest armor or the best survivability. Yeah,
Quiet. Commands on the line.
alrighty. Plenty of gunshots flying by now as we have to maneuver
Copy
ourselves
that.
around again.
Moving.
Gonna keep our fleet
We are
staying
en
mobile,
route,
hard to hit.
Commander.
We could try and shoot at those voxels off in the distance, which may be in our interest, but I really want to get a kill on these destroyers here.
We've been locked on.
See, we have been
Enemies
locked
on
by a
to us.
ship or two.
Yes, Commander. We hear you, Command.
Gonna keep our angling
Aye, aye,
set like
Commander.
so. There we go.
Quiet. Commands on the
Unfortunately, getting a little bit of a clipping issue there.
We got a
Ew.
buzzer out there.
line.
That was rather concerning, seeing those rail shots fly by. We're just gonna find ourselves a
Underway.
patch of cover. Alright, what do we got here? So, in this case, we're using our extra range to evade their jamming, since their jamming only goes out to 10 kilometers. Alright, I think that now is the time, if there ever was one, to fire on those voxels. Ouch. Gonna have to take rail fire here, but that's a-okay by me. See them all putting rail shots into the inlet font. Rather annoying that, but still.
We'll be there before you know.
Fire our search radar like so.
Right
In
away.
this case, we have lost our track, so we're going to have to just issue a dummy fire order to keep ourselves
Understood.
on target.
Engaging.
Oop, you can see the bulk freighter trying to roll there in a silly way. There we are.
The enemy is securing Zone Dagger.
Protecting an enemy
All right.
Go ahead.
That is
Command.
We've lost
enemy
the line.
missiles flying out, so
It'll be done, Commander.
keep ourselves going
We
here.
are
Oop,
en route,
gotta keep you
Commander.
moving.
What are our orders, Commander?
A lot of
Running
incoming
out of
fire
power.
here, so this is rather painful. Ow, 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 ow. Is your floodlight still online? I
Aye,
hope
aye,
so. We're
Commander.
going to just fire the floodlight if it's
Spiker.
possible. Fortunately, we don't seem to have enough power for that. We're just going to try and take cover
We
here
are
for the
en
moment.
route, Command. We hear you, Command.
All right, set our 0
You
on
heard the
you.
orders.
So,
Got you
and
5
we're going to
by
fire
5.
some more on the
That's
Winnie
a
the
bit
Pooh.
far, Commander.
Power's on. We're green. Your orders, Commander.
And you are weapons free as soon as you get an angle.
Copy that. Moving.
Just going to keep moving our tug
We'll be
around,
there
trying to
before you know.
maneuver backwards
lock
out
on
of
us.
their radar jamming range.
What do you
Surprised the Winnie the Pooh is still in the game.
Locked
It
in.
is very
Rounds
bruised.
incoming.
want? Detecting an enemy spiker.
All right. Now that we've gotten around the corner, we need to maneuver
Aye,
around
aye.
again.
Full
The
power.
enemy secured Zone Dagger.
Get us
Order
moving.
repairs quickly to our various systems. Since you can see, our ship is kind of lit up like a Christmas tree right now, so we need a little bit of time to fix things.
At the ready, Commander.
Since,
We're running out of power.
let's
Got
see.
you 5 by 5.
Lights are
Ouch.
back on.
Now, that
Moving on
rail ship is being
Power's coming
quite
back online.
annoying. Gonna sweep my radars up to try and get a spot
Right
on it.
away.
There it is. It's not very often you see a rail battleship, but in this case, they are fielding one, and it is being rather annoying since it keeps shutting down my various systems.
Scopes out.
All right, so,
What are
so we're
our
gonna
orders?
angle our search radar onto this one here. It'll let me. There we go.
Right away.
Lock on
Take 'em
you
out.
like so.
Right away.
We
There
lost
we
a
are.
component.
Turning up the engines now.
Copy that.
Quickly reposition since that thing still wants to shoot
Aye,
at
aye.
us,
Full
annoyingly.
power.
I'll try and go under this
Get us into
rock.
position. Acting.
There we are. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Good to fire a decoy now that we've broken our line of sight, and hopefully this will make the Solomon shoot at that target instead. Yeah. Rail turrets being rather annoying in my case.
Aye, aye, Commander.
I do see
We're
this
moving.
keystone maneuvering down low here, so I want to
Our
get a
signal is
shot
being
onto that.
jammed. We're locking on target.
Want to
They're
respect
locked
that
onto
that
us.
thing
Moving.
probably has a beam turret, and that I want
We're
nothing to do
moving.
with it. Oop, you are moving a bit in
We've
the
used
wrong
up our
direction.
missiles. Got you 5 by 5.
Yeah, we're just going to
Aye, aye.
maneuver backwards
Full
this way,
power.
trying to keep ourselves
Got
out.
incoming
Okay.
fire. At once, Commander. Yes, Commander.
Yes, we're going to preemptively load our turrets facing downwards like so. Because I know that destroyer is there, and I do not intend to be surprised by it. Thank you very
We're
much.
En route, Commander.
Gonna quickly rotate our search radar down like this. There we are. Providing a lock
Aye, aye,
onto those
Commander.
voxels for the allies.
Right away, Commander.
The Winnie the Pooh here is a pretty good spot to get shot. That rail battleship is relentless. Damn.
Moving.
Gonna quickly get around the corner as quickly as it will let me.
Let's move quickly. Our ship is jammed.
There we are.
Zeroing in.
You are locked on and red like a
Module has
book.
been destroyed.
Fire for effect.
On the way,
Bam, 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 bam,
Commander.
bam. With any luck, the beam turret I'm expecting on this thing will probably be taken out in the first volley or so. Quickly getting some shredding shots into it.
Today, Commander.
In case we're also going to be
There's our
firing
target.
with you. There we are.
At the ready, Commander.
Our position here is good. We're just going to move you back
We'll
over
be
so that
there
you can
before
keep your
you know
locks provided.
We'll be there before you know.
Then this little Christopher Robin destroyer should be going down in a second or two. Yeah, yeah.
What is it, Command?
Getting some good hits on target now.
How can we help
Our
today,
reload is
Commander?
kicking in here. Oop. There's the rail ship trying to fire on us again, so we're going to just dip
Aye,
our
aye.
altitude.
Full power.
And we're just going to elevate
Get
you
us
slightly.
moving.
Actually, you're good
it
to still
quick.
stay cruising around this rock like
Move,
so.
let's move.
We'll be relatively in cover, give or take. Yep. Here we see it did have a beam turret, but it is disabled now and trying to do its best to run. We are not going to let it. Hopefully, we're getting this kill. Nice amount of firepower
Yes,
cruising in
ma'am.
now. Gonna dip down
Moving
like
on your
so
waypoint.
and have
Aye,
the
aye.
inlet
Full
or
power.
the inlet font followed by the Tours of Doom,
We hear you, Command. We are
providing
en
good
route,
radar support
Commander.
for our fleet here. These two are getting jammed, as you can see, but
What are our
because I am
orders,
able to
Commander?
provide a good fire control lock
Turning up
with
the
my
engines
tug,
now.
it is
Turning up
no
the
sweat for them.
engines now.
Yeah. Oop. Fortunately, losing the range there, so we're going to have to fire
You
once
heard the
again.
orders. Aye, aye,
Here we are.
Commander.
Sometimes you might lose a lock or two because the
Yes,
enemy's
Commander.
radar return changes ever so slightly.
Receiving.
All right, so is this destroyer done yet? It should. Yep, there we are. Gonna set this to hold
Yes,
fire
Commander.
and just reload all guns since that ship is dead. Excellent. There is a
Yes,
Reigns
Commander.
over here that we want to take out as well.
That's a negative.
That's too
Gonna
far
hit that.
from us.
Let's see. So unfortunately, a bunch of systems are damaged, and we're just trying to bring all of our stuff back together now. So as you can see, our damage control board
Enemy
is
lock
very
confirmed.
much
Yes,
multicolored.
Missile inbound.
Unfortunately, that's Solomon now also having a shot on us, so we're going
Our
to
reactors move back.
try and counter that as best we can.
At the ready.
Moving
Aye,
around the
aye,
corner
Commander.
like
We're
so,
moving.
providing a flanking shot.
Copy that. Moving.
Zoom,
We're
zoom.
moving.
You are weapons free.
Go ahead, Command.
And this
Understood.
should be a
Engaging.
quick kill. Probably overkill given the
Ready for
amount of
enemy fire.
firepower that I'm throwing at it, but still, no kill like overkill.
Awaiting your orders, Commander.
Let's see. So we're going to keep this lock going over here,
Aye, aye,
moving
Commander.
ourselves onto the point just to contest in case any sneaky backcapper wants to come by.
At the ready.
The
Commander.
Solomon is still taking shots at us rather annoyingly, but it seems to have shifted over to the Acellos, which is
Orders,
good for
Commander.
us. Well, bad for our teammate, but at least we're not getting shot. We have time to repair.
Moving on your waypoint.
We need to reset our angling and turn off our floodlight since we don't need it.
Yes, Command.
Ship should be gone
Got
in a
you
second.
5 by 5.
See the Winnie the Pooh here trying to limp its way around the corner.
Get us
We
into
are not
position.
going to let it. Let's try and get that ammo elevator back up in a second. DC team's working overtime here. I've only got 8 of them, but still, they're doing their best.
Send your traffic.
Uh,
Moving
try and
out.
angle you as well.
Aye, aye, Commander.
So, any luck, another good hitter 12 should bring that thing to its knees. These voxels are forced to move back and try and engage other ships since they're not able to contest our forward-facing firepower. In this case, I want to get a good shot onto that destroyer, so I'm going to change the fire order over, like so.
Got you 5
Holding
by
the block
5.
from the Tours of Dune instead.
Standing by.
Now, with any luck, I will get a really good blast into this thing's flank.
Get us into position.
Let's see. You are firing pretty good shots. Surprised you have not evacuated yet, given the amount of fire flying at you. We're probably just over-penetrating the armor.
Commander.
Oh well.
Standing by.
Oh dear, we've lost a Aurora turret, so we need to fix that real quick. Point
Yes,
defense
Commander.
is essential. And there you
Locked
are.
on.
Firing.
Let's move.
Bam
Quickly.
bam. Nice little volley of shells coming at this destroyer, trying to make its way to the A point. We're not
Go
going to let
ahead,
it.
Command.
Important to be relentless. Oh, we see it's not under
I can
command.
help today, Commander.
I'm not sure if that means that it's dead or that it's like just disabled. So we're gonna treat that as dead for the moment, since
Understood.
this thing has taken so many shots. It shouldn't be a threat. There we are. Should see visual on Winnie the Pooh in a second.
Receiving.
Nice little shots flying into it
At the
now.
ready, Commander.
Fly downwards here like so, and so,
On the way,
using our
Commander.
elevation advantage.
We hear you, Command.
Let's see.
Looks like we're being
So,
jammed.
unfortunately, getting jammed here, but we need to
Our
just pull back a little bit.
En route, Commander. Yes, Command. Brace for enemy
Probably
fire.
trade
ahead,
some shots
Command.
into that Solomon, but I'm not feeling
What are
most
orders?
confident doing that, so we're just gonna dip down here
We're moving.
instead.
Looks like we're being jammed.
Rotate ourselves like
At
so.
once,
Oop,
Commander.
yep. There is the
Our
rail
module is
shots coming in.
repaired.
Send your traffic.
It's tempting to engage that target, but this one we can see is now evacuated, so we can
ready,
cancel
Commander.
locking that target.
Send your
Gives us
traffic.
a better chance to hit this,
Zeroing
like so.
in. On the way, Commander.
In this case, we're trying to see... Nope, can't quite see that Solomon, so we're going to switch our early warning radar over to look for it. There it is. Going to give the old signal
Module has
attack
been
marker
destroyed.
here. As you can see, we're going to just keep
Yes,
that thing
Command.
illuminated in case anyone wants to take a shot at it. This destroyer is heavily crippled, although not quite dead, so we're just going to give it
reactor's almost
one
dead.
last little love tap, I think. Actually, that is the
Yes,
magic
Command.
space
The
oil,
component has
so
been
we're going to
destroyed.
signal that thing as
At
killed.
the ready, Commander.
Module
Go
has been
hold fire
destroyed.
order. Yes, we're going to then lock onto you, I believe.
You've heard the orders. We've lost a component.
Actually, we're going to lock onto you and do this.
Let's locked on.
Bam, bam. So unfortunately, our Ocello is really taking a pounding here. Both reactors are heavily
What is
hit,
it, Command?
so we need to get out of the line of fire of that Solomon as fast as possible, dropping our altitude
Component
quickly.
moved now.
Moving out.
You are weapons free on that voxel that we have just locked onto.
Quiet. Command.
They just locked
on.
onto,
We're
but
being
we're making it
jammed.
work.
Course laid in.
Going to pull back our ship again, trying to keep the scans going as best we can.
You heard the orders.
This is a very good
Let's go.
scouting device since the enemy can't quite get in range to jam it, and we are dealing devastating damage to this voxel. We just see the entire silhouette light up.
Send your traffic.
You see them attempting to jam us here, but unfortunately we have a long-range counter to that, which is the Neko Handy here. Yeah. I called it that because this ship does come in handy. Very good. And they have not rotated their jamming, so the jamming is currently facing towards us over here. They've not rotated it to hit my ship here back on the sea point, and I'm going to hope that they don't wake up and correct that. Yeah. Do quickly change over the
Aye, aye, Commander.
setting here. There we go. See this voxel taking a absolute pounding. Ship able to find cover once again. Luckily, the rails have not taken out all of my systems. They've just heavily crippled me. So we're going to try and do some chain restore action, getting our parts back where they need to be. This ship is going to sit out for a little minute here, although I think I can probably get a shot onto these ones if I'm careful.
Moving on
Be
your way.
very aware of where that Solomon can shoot and not. So, moving up
Moving
here,
on your
like
waypoint.
so. Oop, wrong shit. There we go. Set the heading like so it hugs the rock closely. You see that voxel is not long for this world, taking so very much damage.
At the ready, Commander.
We might want to rotate onto these ones ahead.
Understood. Engaging.
So we're going to change our targets like so.
Right away, Commander. Orders, Command. Firing
In this
on
case, we're
target.
going to move back
Course
once
laid
again.
in.
keeping that battleship on radar so we're aware of where it
How can
is,
we help today, Commander?
but also providing some heavy fire support.
Aye, aye, Commander. We're moving.
Let's just cruise ourselves up
Moving on your
here.
waypoint.
Then with any
What are
luck, we'll
orders?
get a lock here in a second, and that will be
Understood.
good. Ooh,
Engage.
nasty, nasty missile volley coming out of this thing. Size 2s to the side. Wham, wham, wham. That Vox might have just bit the dust. There's not much Vox left there, I'm gonna be honest. Like, that thing just got completely blindsided by a bunch of size 2s, so we're just gonna finish it off with a nice volley of 450 rounds from our
Module
casemate
back
guns.
online.
Bam, 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 bam. Some of these might actually miss because the ship is moving slowly, but
Quiet. Command's
we
on
take
the
those
line.
either way.
Orders, command.
Gotta keep repairs going here, since we are currently in cover and going to stay that way.
Let's move
Moving as
quickly.
close to the cliff as I can reasonably get.
Our reactor has been
Want to
restored.
make sure that we knock out the ship and that it doesn't zombie. So we see a second missile volley coming in now. Very go boom indeed. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, there is the magical space oil. So we're going to transfer our targeting over to this sprinter.
We're locking on
Try and
target.
get some shots into it, since
Take 'em out.
that is a very dead Vox. Goodbye. Take a look around, see what else. We see there's another voxel here, which we might be able to get a shot into. I don't think this one is dead, so we're going to switch our radars over. Oop,
Yes,
where did
Commander.
that go? I just saw that. Hang on a minute. Are you trying to hide from me, voxel? You can't do that.
You heard the orders. Let's go.
Change our headings as well.
Right away, Commander.
Again, they have a rail battleship, which is providing a very annoying amount of firepower towards our teammates
What
here.
are orders?
But, ooh, beam. Oh dear. So there's
Yes,
a beam
Commander.
ship on the map. We'll have to account for that. Guess just
Slowing
gonna
the ship.
issue halt order there as we try and peck away at the sprinter. See missiles trying to hit it, but the sprinter's maneuverability means that it's able to nimbly
How
dodge
can
some
we
of
help
these
today,
shots.
Commander?
There we go. This
Awaiting
voxel,
your
unfortunately,
orders.
coming back
Right away.
online. Going to
Understood.
issue the
Engaging.
new orders to fire on it as soon as we can.
At the ready, Commander.
Quickly
Scope's
moving ourselves
out.
around like so.
Aye, aye, Commander.
We're currently
We're
in the
moving.
lead on points, but there's the possibility that one of their ships is going to backcap us on the E, so
Orders, command.
we may have to rotate down below and deal with that. Given that the battleship is going
What are
high, I
orders?
think it's pretty safe for us to go down
Our ship
instead.
is jammed.
So we're going to try and do that here. Gonna flip the map over, then I can move to here. Then
They've got a
try
lock on
and
us.
get myself into a position where I can cap the D point.
We're moving.
Yeah.
Ammunition is running low.
Got some allies going there already, but reinforcements
traffic.
never hurts. See here?
Yes,
Yep.
command.
They are rotating and trying to keep us
Target lock
pinned in here.
confirmed.
Gonna hit them with the
Orders
illuminator.
received.
Ooh, dear. They've hit me with that, so I'm gonna drop down like
Aye,
so.
aye. Full power.
Firing everything we got at this voxel as long as we
Commander.
can. Okay, got some restorers, so we're going to put that into the Aurora turrets in case there's any nastiness still left in the enemy's missile tubes. Don't want to be hit by something in the late game that could cripple me.
Awaiting your orders,
Got
Commander.
my early warning radars still doing their job, sitting at the edge of the map, but I'm going to move it a little bit upwards here now.
Course laid in.
Rail battleship trying to find some terrain for it to hit me from. I just kind of
Underway.
dodge around the map like so. Interesting three-dimensional angling you have to take into account here. I am currently behind cover, so we're going to just dip out of that a little ways and then dip back.
Aye, aye, Commander. We're moving.
We should see our casemates fire onto this voxel here and carve it to pieces. We can still see our
Right.
250,
Command's on the
or sorry, our 450 turrets on our Ocello doing their job. Trying to hit them with whatever we got. And we're going to cancel the Illuminator fire order since we don't need it. Got Aurora turrets standing by to shoot at some incoming missiles, which are a little ways off. Oop. We see one of the enemy has surrendered. That's good for us. Let's see. Is that this ship? Fortunately, I can't hear, so I
Prepare the
couldn't
mod.
tell.
Quiet. Command's on the line. Not as good as the shipyard, but it'll get it done.
Center traffic.
All right. Oh, here we see the
Yes, Commander.
little sprinter. 2297 going C. So that is annoying, since we'll have to deal with that ourselves. Unless the Elderberry can get a good shot on it. It's got small guns that might be able to handle it.
We
We'll
hear
see.
you, Command.
Either way, keeping eyes on that Solomon, which we're just going to kind of ignore the entire match because I don't think that we really need to do anything about it.
Got you 5 by 5.
Allies going towards the E point, so we've got that handled. Let's see. Should have a tug on the... Yep. It's just barely on the D point, holding its position.
Quiet. Command's on the
All
line.
right. Now, will this thing launch pods, is the question.
Got you 5 by 5.
Given my positioning, I think I can
Copy
move
that.
myself to
Moving.
be a little more aggressive since nothing is really going on down below.
What are our orders, Commander?
Let's see. More escape pods going off there. And a sprinter going up here.
Awaiting your orders,
Okay.
Commander.
We are going to engage in the art of overkill, firing 450 rounds at a sprinter, which will probably do nothing, but still makes me feel good. Yeah. We move ourselves over this way and hope for the best. You see, again, our Christmas tree of a damage control board on our Acello, but it's still kicking.
Send your traffic.
Let's see, what can we get the best lock on here? Gotta just move myself onto the point.
Turning up the engines now.
I'm assuming that this voxel is dead,
Today, Commander.
given it hasn't moved for a little bit.
You heard the orders. Let's go.
There is a nasty number of ships over here.
Yes, Commander.
Are playing the Mom fleet, which refers to a fleet where you play a bunch of smaller ships to kind of take care of the little issues around, much like Mom does.
Got you 5 by 5.
Now, let's see just how much ridiculous overkill firepower we get into this thing.
Quiet. Commands on the line.
Bam, 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 bam.
You heard the orders. Let's go. Those bastards have a lock.
Unfortunately, we are being locked by somebody. Ooh, dear, ouch. So, in this case, the battleship has chosen to shoot at my tug, which is rather rude. Go to lock onto it, and... You know what? This battleship has annoyed me most of the
Copy
game.
that. Moving.
Once I'm done shooting at this little Corvette, which I should be in a second or two, oop, the GGs go off there. Oh, we are about to win on the cap points, so that will be a GG then.
I can't see anything.
In this case, the Solomon battleship was able to get free reign across the entire match, but luckily it did not have the firepower needed to knock out a bunch of our ships, so instead it just would disable them and we'd find rocks. To tell you the truth, I'm not too afraid of rail battleships, although they are annoying to deal with. That'll be the battle report. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our performance. As you can see, pretty good damage between our two ships here, racking up about, let's see, 22k or so across the fleet. Nice to see a bunch of firepower come through here. Our Aurora point defense guns destroying a bunch of incoming missiles. Very good. Just gonna tab out real quick and see if my friend Vivi is streaming or not. We might go raid her. Okay, so it looks like Vivi is not streaming, so we're just going to continue playing some Neb games. I've got time for one more tonight, I think. Okay, go back to the old main menu here and look if there's a lobby open. Ooh, we got a match up on Nyx's Eye, so we're going to try and drop into that. And hopefully play some more OSB ships. Yeah. Let's see. So we showed off a bunch of the Broadside 250, a bunch of the Broadside 450, and a nice little hybrid fleet, which was our... Where was it? I forget which fleet it was actually that we had just played, but either way, we showed off the mixture between the Acello and the Broadside Bulker with 450 guns, so quite potent. Let's see if there is something we can do here. I could play a Tug Swarm, which is a very powerful fleet, although something that I don't find particularly interesting, since you kind of just click on the enemy once and then ignore everything else after that. Could play a fleet of my plasma bricks, which are able to strip off the enemy's armor and then shred them following that. Quite enjoyable. Might actually do that. Yeah. So the feeder Targo tugs right now, they're not in the best spot, but they are still serviceable. So in this case, we've got a plasma spinal gun, which is able to strip armor off of the enemy, unique mechanic of plasma. Backing this up, we have a bunch of the T-30 turrets, which fire small 100mm shots. But these then are able to quickly punch through the enemy's very weakened armor and detonate inside of their systems. Let's see, we've got a good old mixture of ammunitions here. We've got a command, well, I say command, a electronic warfare ship with a tracking radar, the Pinpoint in this case, and Bellbird. So this is a interesting little group of ships that I haven't taken out for a little while. We also have, of course, a little cap shuttle, as is tradition for the OSP. Very useful ship, 106 points to cap is quite good. So we're going to go back to the lobby and ready up with this. Showing the team what we got. Got time for one more match tonight, so we're going to hope that this is a good one. We're on Nix's Eye, which is a very big map, so... This does mean that we're going to be relegated to close quarters fighting, since plasma does have some damage fall off. As you fire the shot, it kind of cools and then loses its potency, but... Oh, wow. So, we're going to give it a shot, see if we can't get some general damage dealt with these. Plus, this gives me a lot of ships in case I need to break something off and maneuver around to try and get at the enemy back points when things have kind of gone into the later game phase. Yeah. Double check, make sure I've got the right radars on these. I do want a mixture of the two kinds of radar available, which is the Ithaca Bridgemaster and the Bulwark Huntress. Bulwark Huntress has a little bit better range, which is important for detecting the enemy. I don't appear to have any in this fleet, which is a little concerning. Might have to do something about that, although I'm not sure what I could really trade out to get it. I could trade this small walker for a rapid, but doing so might leave me vulnerable. Let's see. It's not too much... You know what? I'm just going to rely on my allies for the long-range spotting and hope for the best. Yeah. Either way. Let's see. It's good modded. Either way, I am ready with the old Brick Team 2. We are certifiedly bricked up, so with any luck, we will be able to get something done good this match. We had a lot of fun last match playing the 450 long-range fleet, but in this case, we're going to try and do the opposite and get as up close and personal as we can to shred the enemy's armor and deliver knockout punches with our 100mm guns. You see them talking about voting out different maps. Canyon is a 10-player map that is very large and has quite a few performance issues. No thank you. Rather not go to Canyon, please. I do find Nix's Eye is pretty good as a 5 versus 5 map. It used to be a 4 versus 4, but it got bumped up to be a 10-player, which is pretty nice since it is a fairly large map. So, either way, we're seeing the enemy team has now filled up, and so is ours, so we're going to see if we can't get some stuff done. You see Pyro coming in with the Berry fleet again. A bunch of the sort of command ship here in the form of cargo feeder. The Pusk coming in with the Acello and Bulk Freighter sort of pairing we had before. In this case, they've gone for the Brawl variant with a bunch of Plasma T-30s and 250s as well. Very good for stripping armor off and then delivering a lot of rapid punches. And of course, they've got their little cap shuttle, although in this case, theirs has a mine layer and Bellbird jammer. Satoran has a nice mixture of missile ships here. You can see you've got a couple broadside turrets just in case they need to shoot somebody, along with a nice little volley of size 2 missiles. In my case, I have the collection of 5 of these little bricks here with the Plasma and T-30 turrets, so I should try and stick close to Pusk, who has the MSS tag. Archon of Evil coming up with 1, 2, 3 of the 450 casemate turreted bulk freighters and a Bloodhound track tugboat, so in this case, going very cheaply on the freighters in order to bring 3 of them. Yeah. And lastly, actually, I believe that's the entire team covered. So, that, I'm just going to wait for Haywire to ready up here and see if we can't get some good games in before I have to go tonight. Gotta head out to something at 8, but still, should be fun. Game starting, 10 seconds. Let's see the countdown. And we just have to remember, stay close to the MSS fleet, since when we can stack our plasma together, we can strip off the enemy's armor faster and then deliver our knockout punches. It's very enjoyable watching a battleship get peeled like an onion. Alright, it's taking a little minute to load up here. Hopefully no player has crashed. Sometimes it's unfortunate when you load into a lobby and one of the players drops out as soon as they connect, so it can happen due to various different reasons, but we're just going to assume that somebody's playing on a toaster and it's taking them a little bit of time to load. The big sippy of water. Water's good. You should drink more water, chat. There we are. As you can see, 5 players connected. Good to go. In this case, we've got a high A point here, a D and B point on opposite sides of the map, C point, which is their natural, and down low we have E point, which is ours. So I am looking to get some close-range brawling action, but I also want to have a secure flank. So I think that deploying to the D point and then kind of going around this rock will do me well. So we're going to do that. Deploying over here with the Venue Mat as our lead ship. We're also going to look for that MSS fleet coming along. Going to ask Husk want to group with me left so we can plasma together. Plasma, again, kind of a exponentially successful weapon system, if that makes any sense. More of it you have, the more quickly you can strip off the enemy and then really punch down and get into their internals with the special high-capacity explosives that the 100mm have. Give them the old :3, good ideas. Here we see ourselves stacking very much on the left. Probably going to send like 1 shuttle or so off to the right on the B point. Got my 2 ships here. I believe the Sky is my little cap ship, which is just going to send itself off very quickly and try and get the point. If that baits out a enemy missile strike or gets me scouting information, it's paid for itself. Sometimes you have to make little sacrifices like that in order to force the enemy to commit. Oh, I have to hit deploy. Yeah, with that, we see our little plus formation here of our bricked up ships going into the game. Yeah. Gonna do one little quick trick as I deploy here to avoid my formation getting a little bit silly. So, case, I'm going to tell these two to halt. I'm going to issue a order to my lead ship to set its heading like so with loose formation. And I'm going to order you to go about here. You to go about here. Then when I move the fleet, it should move like that in a nice little plus shape. Yay. There we are, setting our headings proper now. We have the Burnt Owl, which is going to be our electronics warfare ship. I'm going to turn off its radar because I won't need it. In this case, I can't even run the radar on it, which is... Actually, I didn't put a radar on this thing, so I'm just going to... That's interesting. I'm not sure why that is... Maybe it considers the fire control radar. Either way, this is a set of jammers, which can operate decently well to mask our ship on approach. I'm going to set the waypointing order here for my little scout ship to go forward and hopefully cap that point. You can see we've got another allied ship heading there already, but we're just going to set flank speed ahead. Flank speed does have the caveat of damaging your thrusters. I don't know the exact percentage chance, but we can see there already damage being dealt to it. But it does increase your speed by, I believe, 50%. So it can be worth it, especially when you have a ship like this that wants to go really fast and get to the point. So.
We're on the way.
Gonna maneuver our way around here, staying relatively tight to the rock, trying to hide ourselves from the enemy. This is quite a collection of ships here. We can see we've got a allied Berry HQ feeder coming with us, providing a little bit of missile support. So down here we can see the UPS fleet. Archon's got those nice 65 turrets, so that's 450 firing. With let's see, that'd be 1, 2, 3 casemates, each of them double-barreled, so firing a little bit faster than the single-barrel variant. That is a nasty amount of 450 that can be brought onto target. So we're going to be looking to peel apart anything flank overloading this side with effectively 3 fleets. And then we've just decided to give up the B side since we can win the left and the middle. The idea is that this map is kind of divided into 3 lanes because you've got your 2 natural points, and then you want to decide which point to fight over. So if we go to the left and mid, that will give us a lead over them, being a 3-2 lead rather, and we should be able to adapt from there.
We're Ready
In this
whenever
case,
you
I've got
are.
my fleet already preset facing the enemy. Hopefully, as soon as they show up, I will just be able to issue a group fire order and then strip them of plasma. Yeah. Got to set my weapons to tight, since that way I'm
Ready
able
whenever
to...
you are.
Well,
Aye, aye.
one thing this
On the way.
does is that because the T-30 turrets are actually multifunction, they can load grape shot to try and shoot down incoming enemy missiles. I don't actually want to do that, since it means they will have to go through their whole reload cycle in order to bring up the AP rounds that I want them to fire. So instead, we're just going to have them set to tight mode, which means that they don't fire freely. At least I'm pretty sure. I might have to set them to hold fire. Either way, this should be fine.
Receiving.
Actually, I'm just going to do that right now. I'm going to set them to hold fire. There we go.
Aye, aye.
Just in case they want to be a little silly.
We're on the way, Commander.
Either way, we are seeing
Awaiting orders,
our
Commander.
7th ship, the Sky, getting towards the D point, detecting a enemy
Heading
vessel
here now,
over
Commander.
here as well. We're going to issue an attack order on that, since I expect them to start jamming us in a second, which I'm going to do in turn.
Aye, aye. Enemy is
Going to, as you can see, because they have jammed us here, I have preemptively made an attack order, so now I know where to
Copy
aim.
that.
And because I've got this preset, I can actually issue a fire order about on that point. So this will make our turrets preemptively aim
Can't
there.
do it, it's too
You can
far.
see them
Brace for
moving
impact.
up a little bit.
Just
In this
checking
case, we're going to set
traffic.
ourselves to fly evasively and try and
Module
dodge a
offline.
little bit here.
We are
Course
securing
laid in.
zone
Probably
dagger.
not long for this world, but still. You can see a lot of jammers and RPF rounds, so I'm suspecting that that is either a collection. Ooh, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. So I'm going to bet that that is a Axford with a big old turret on top firing 250s. Either way then.
Underway. We're ready whenever you are. Moving.
See if we can't get a good idea of what's a priority target here. Generally, the big ships are the ones you'll be able to see through the chaff, or rather the electronic warfare coverage.
Receiving.
Anyways, in a second, we're about to get detected, so we're going to go ahead and fire off our bottom jammer first and foremost,
Electronic
Block.
warfare activated.
proving that we too can engage in EWAR shenanigans. Then,
For your orders.
since we are a little bit out of range here, we're just going to keep ourselves high, like so.
Moving.
Hopefully out of sight, out of mind.
Receiving.
There we are. As you can see, our ship is able to get into position to provide that nasty, nasty EWAR support. I'm going to set the heading here so I'm able to quickly rotate back and forth. Single small ship missile killer on its way. Hopefully our team's point defenses firing off there will get it. Just barely flaking by it, but that's going into a rock. So rock, best point defense as ever. See, our jammer is using up a bunch of its active time. So instead of burning that out, we are going to swap to our top jammer here,
Let's block.
firing that as well, and then turn off our bottom one, giving it a little time to recharge. There we go.
We're on the way.
As you can see, they have quite the fleet here as well. Going to try and find a target. This one is the one we want. Oop. Fortunately, wasn't able to mark it. But
Waiting for your orders, Commander.
because I want to be a little gremlin, I am going to quickly pulse both jammers on them, forcing them to quickly reassign their fire orders, like so. There we are. Now we have a good eye on that ship, so we're going to issue a plasma fire order and try and lock
Can't
it.
do It's too far.
There we are.
Moving.
Now with our fleet going up top, we've got the MSS port song here, trying to bring its 250 to bear onto that Axford. We are going to strip that thing down to its bare bones, and hopefully that'll be good. You can see I have accidentally loaded grape shot there, so I'm going to just issue the plasma fire order. Oop, you can see that Axford just barely getting clipped by the 450 as it tries to dodge its way over.
Standing
In this
by.
case, unfortunately, our electronic warfare has worn off, so we're going to have to just sit tight for a second. Luckily, our allies are providing some as well. Now, again, because our fleet is close quarters, we are going to try and stay close to the rock here, hiding the better part of our force. Fortunately, they have chosen to lock onto me, so I'm just going to run on battle short and pulse my jammers real quick. Blam. Which should make them annoyed. Nice. Because we want to get out of the line of fire here, and we also don't want to burn up our jammers. Oof, there's a big missile strike incoming. You can tell because the game has just started chugging. I'm going to turn off battle short again and issue a ceasefire order. There we are. Now we can get a good read on that Axford as well. Marking... Oof. Good lord, this is chugging. Woof, there is so much point defense going off. All right, anyways, we're going to lock onto this one if I can. Holy crap, the game is down to 8 frames a second. Woof. Set this to that. Point defense turrets only dedicated, so we're going to set that to dedicated only. That way we don't get the hybrid issue going on. Fire one of those here. And yeah, sorry about the slideshow, folks, but a lot of lot of stuff going off here. Holy crap. So we can see all the point defense guns firing right now as all of our fleets are exchanging a huge amount of fire. The game has to track all of these various respective missiles and stuff going through, and the explosions calculated set. There we go. A little bit better now. Trying to lock onto you as best as I can.
Underway.
Let's see. Where is another good target? That is a Vauxhall. The Axfords are moving out to the side, so we're instead going to fire on this. We don't have a great lock, but we're going to take what we got, so there we are. Engaging the Bellbird jammer on position, like so.
Jamming the enemy.
Yes. This is what happens when you stack a whole bunch of ships together. It gets a little bit ugly, so your priority shot there. There we are. Okay, got a lock, got a lock. Cool. And light it up. Shoot it.
We're ready whenever you are.
You are weapons free.
Standing by.
Bam, 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 bam. In this case, I've tipped my hand, and they know what I am, but they're just going to have to deal with it, because, yeah.
We're on the way.
Can issue a order to... Ooh, try and issue a order to move backwards. Holy crap, this is chugging along. Ugh. Let's see the low frame rate slideshow going in effect here now. We just watched this Vauxhall proceed to get blasted by every gun that we have available.
Enemy fire. Incoming.
Unfortunately, they are taking a bit of return fire.
No power, no power.
So in this case, unfortunately, our ship here got hit by one of those, so we are going to have to restore some stuff.
Make it quick.
In this case, I could bring the reactor back online to provide some jamming support, which I think is probably the best move for us here. All right.
Make it quick.
We're going to fire all of our plasma onto this target here. 7792 lock. I'm going to call that out as best I can. Oh. This ship is still alive, remarkably. I am quite impressed at that. I thought that thing had died a long time ago. So, anyways, we're just going to issue our order to return back here. Most of our fleet is not able to engage, so we're just going to go onto the Vauxhall instead. Since this thing has taken so many hits, we're going to switch over to our high explosive rounds, trying to punch through its armor.
Waiting for your orders, Commander.
Here we are.
Aye, aye. We're on the way. We're a little busy, don't you think?
We are able to fire our jammer when we get a chance.
Jam them.
Which, unfortunately, we are still out of power.
Standing by.
So we can see them colliding here, which is good. This is the downside to a whole bunch of ships stacking together. They can, in fact, smack into each other. So,
Waiting orders. We're on the way, Commander.
as you can see, unfortunately, the UPS fleet taking a bit of fire, losing one of their own there. Although that is still attracting a bunch of the enemy's firepower, so we should be able to try and get around and punish
Ready
this.
whenever you are.
You can see our friendly cellos up. Oh, never mind. Our friendly bulk freighter up here getting some really good firing arcs.
Underway.
So you are currently active, so we're going to send you over to the... I actually don't... You know what? You're just going to stay here, okay? They don't know that you're alive, so you're just going to be a little bit of information for us. Excellent. You're going to just cease fire.
We're ready whenever you are.
You're going to go down here, and we're going to try and get some good shots into the enemy. In case we see a target.
Copy.
There we are.
We are securing zone box.
In our case, we've unfortunately lost a bunch of stuff here, but we're able to chain restore.
Opponent
Standing
destroyed.
by.
And this can get a restore as well. There we are.
Waiting orders.
And any luck here, we'll be able to get a good shot on... Ooh, that's a nasty collection of ships. And that is a very strong missile barrage. Let's see if these destroyers have what it takes to tank it or not. Huh. Do they have an AFK? Because that's very strange seeing that fleet just kind of hanging out there. They don't appear to be moving. How odd. Well, either way, we're going to take our blessings where we can and move around like so. Changing the formation ever so... Oop, slightly. Move the Nutty Plump.
Orders,
We're going to
command.
move you to be an escort here, and you're going to move to be an escort here. There we are.
Aye, aye. Foreman on guide.
Trying to dip our altitude now. Looking for targets. In this case, there's an Axford just itching to be shot by us. So,
We have secured zone
Unable.
box.
Too far.
don't believe I have any pinpoint fire control radars in any of these, sadly.
Ready.
Probably an oversight on my part, but
Loud and clear.
still. Because you can't actually move, just gonna have you stay there. Unfortunately, we did lose the sky on the other side of the rock, but
Module
still.
is back up again.
Let's take a look. Okay, you've fixed some of your stuff, so we're going to fix your cannons real quick, because we want you to keep shooting.
Commander,
Standing by.
you're targeting us.
Okay, so this Axford is going to be the first victim.
Tell
See
us
one
what
of
to
our
do,
ships here being
Commander.
locked, so
We're ready
again, just going
whenever
to
you are.
fire on what we can. In this case, I'm actually
Hostile
going to
fire
order
inbound.
them to fire on the small ships, since I want to strip the Axford's armor first and then engage it.
Engaging the enemy.
Yeah, we're going to just move ourselves over like so.
We're on the move.
Again, very much chugging along, so I'm sorry about the slideshow, folks, but, well, we're just trying to do what we can here. In case we see the Axford holding position, firing all of our HE shots onto this sprinter that we can.
Waiting for your
Gonna
orders.
try and take out some of their lighter escorts while the plasma does its work stripping off the enemy's armor.
Opponent lost, Commander.
Ooh, we got some incoming missiles. Let's see if our point defense is up to snuff or not. Bunch of friendly lasers there also firing off, so our flak defense is fortunately good enough. We're gonna just quickly drop down. You can see our number 5 here is taking some hits. We're gonna order it to fix its stuff as best we can. Let's see, what is shooting back at us? You are still shooting back at us, so you're gonna get shot. We're in very close range now, so the enemy's positions are... Ooh, there's a friendly lock, so we're really gonna fire on that thing with plasma. Wham, wham, wham. Trying to take out the enemy guns as best as possible. We're gonna also signal this one priority since it is an Axford.
Bastards have a lock.
You hear them try to lock us on here,
Standing by.
taking
Commander,
our
we
best
lost the
opportunities to
module.
fire on things.
Underway.
Hopefully this one has a
Command
firing
level
arc.
line. They're shooting
Yep,
at
it
us.
does. We've got good hits. In this case, that Axford is getting completely shredded. Let's see. There's another pair of Axfords here. Gonna make sure...
Engaging.
We're gonna keep firing on this one and swap to AP real quick.
They won't know what
I think I swapped to AP there. There's AP, there we are.
Engaging the enemy.
We've lost a module.
5609. Focus. Ooh. A little bit of the old
Opponent lost.
fat fingers there.
Whenever you are.
Anyways, I'm gonna fire on this thing with all of our guns, witnessing the true firepower of OSP coordinated teams. Seeing the plasma stripping into this thing as our AP shots will try and take it apart. Gonna be maneuvering around. See a lot of damage coming across our ships here, trying to fix what we can. Don't need a point defense laser. We're good on that. None of these systems are essential. Just trying to keep our T-30 cannons firing, and so are the C-81s. In this case, we see the Axford getting completely cooked here. We're going to issue a change of our fire then to the high explosive rounds, since I should be able to get through its armor now and deal devastating knockout punches. In this case, we can see a lot of the enemy fleet also coming to bear. So, gonna quickly, issue the order to maneuver as best we can. We're gonna do a quick little drop order here, and then move up again, trying to keep ourselves evasive. There's a lot of ships going on at each other here, so. Pew, 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 pew. Here we see all of those green high explosive capacity shots hitting into the enemy ship, completely tearing it apart. Well, we can kind of see the outline every time it's silhouetted here. A lot of DACA. Cool.
Missile warning.
More missiles incoming by the sounds of it, but those are also a bunch of friendly missiles. The old very strong warheads flying towards the enemy fleet here. Soon to impact the Octo Nixon. We've also got the Atwater and the Stone, which is dead. I'm going to mark it as such. And go back to managing my fleet.
There's internal damage.
Nice to take a little look around the battlefield and see what's what. Since this Axford seems thoroughly cooked, we're going to swap over to
Firing solution locked in.
7792 Focus. We're going to call out that one and give it the rotisserie chicken
Firing
treatment.
solution locked
Yeah.
in.
These sprinters are annoying, but I can handle them with some nice grape shot.
Firing solution
We're
locked
going to
in.
fire on that. Moving ourselves onto the point, trying to capture and contest here. We're going to be playing aggressively. Our little bricks ready to throw pans.
We're ready, Commander.
We see more damage being dealt. Oh, that thing is maxed out. Fortunately, although our ships did take a brunt of fire, they are choosing to fire on the larger capital ships instead of our sort of collection of escorts. So we're going to be trying to take out these ships. See again more plasma flying in here. Fortunately, our ships are fairly small, but also decently armored, so we should be able to cook off most of the stuff. That sprinter is getting completely clobbered by this grape shot. Its armor insufficient to protect it against sort of shotgun flechette rounds. Here we see going after this one instead now. A whole bunch of those fast-flying shots tearing apart the sprinter. Hopefully crew killing it.
Hostiles engaging us.
All right.
Incoming. Moving.
Trying our best to cook this one here.
The enemy's locked on to
Again,
us.
these sprinters, our job being to trim the escorts, and we're doing a pretty good job of it. That one is still alive. That's annoying. Okay, we're going to swap over to high explosive rounds and just end that thing's existence. And yeah. We see a friendly plasma liner engaging onto this thing, giving it some good love. Fortunately, this ship is also engaging us, so we're going to change the plasma's order to that, since this one looks like it's already been thoroughly cooked.
We're ready whenever you are.
Getting onto the D point here, moving ourselves the best we can. Our frame rate's starting to pick a little bit back up again, even though it is very laggy. So, see, that ship is not long for this world, I don't think. We're just pounding it with all the high explosives we can. In fact, I think that is a kill, so we're going to change targets, marking this one as dead. There we go. Slideshow finds itself another frame or two.
We are securing Zone Dagger.
Receiving.
We managed to get ourselves the point.
On the
Here.
move.
Just going to make sure the order is issued correctly. See a bunch of missiles coming in here. Unfortunately, the ship still has a good chunk of point defense turrets. However, as we see, the front side of it is looking pretty cooked. So
The enemy is
that, I think that we have the perfect avenue to hopefully take this thing out. We'll fire on that and then issue the high explosive HEHC. There we go. A bunch of GGs coming in. It looks like the enemy team is throwing in the towel. They did have a AFK, which is rather unfortunate, but well, what can you do? Are these ships gone?
We need repair
These-
team stat.
That one is done and dusted, and so should be this one, I think. Yep, FML fleet has abandoned, so we're going to mark that as killed and issue a hold fire
We have
reload.
secured Zone Dagger.
Yeah. Let's see, I don't know where those destroyers went from earlier. I think they were AFK somewhere over this side, I want to say. I've got ping about here. Yeah. Let's see a little life pod doing a runner. Just going to mark that as not a threat. Killed. Done.
The enemy
With
secured
any
Zone
luck,
Dagger.
we can cease fire, and then there we are. See them now.
Copy that. Waiting orders.
Since they have very weak armor, we're going to go with high explosive and basically just burn ourselves over to them. Yeah. In more or less the right spot. We take those.
We're ready whenever you are.
I'm just going to call this one at 3691, still active.
Standing by.
Enemy is still technically in the game, although it's a fairly one-sided affair. It is unfortunate they had a disconnect. This would have been a very interesting fight if that 5th fleet had joined in.
Waiting orders.
See their guns automatically returning fire on us.
Waiting orders.
What is obscuring us here? Ah, we just don't quite have the range, that's why. Alright. A collection of 4 Keystone Destroyers, likely with beam turrets and
Waiting for
guns.
orders, Commander.
You can definitely see that there's some guns on them as we are shooting into them now. Yeah.
Receiving.
So again, whole bunch of Daka flying into them here. Pew, 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 pew. You can see a nice silhouette around that ship. This thing is not long for the world, so we are going to change over to, I think, this one. Yeah.
Engaging.
We'll fire our high explosives onto the Sprinter here, since we have the best odds of killing it, given that our 100mm rounds will not overpenetrate its very meek armor. But the plasma shots now switching over, and we see them blast this thing. Wham, wham. See, our allies have locked onto these ones, and we're just going to tear them apart, and that should be the match.
Receiving.
See some of our shots overpenning there. In this case, we had briefly lost a sight of it because the ship had words are failing me. It had its radar knocked out, which reduces its radar signature ever so slightly. So now we've drawn closer though, so we can actually still see it and keep ourselves advancing towards them. And this should just be a nice little clean mop up. So we're gonna go ahead and pepper this one. There we are. Since we've plasmaed this thoroughly, we're going to transfer our shots over. Yep, you can still see the rebound point defense turrets active. And this is what plasma does. It strips off the armor on the side of the ship. And our shots are just able to handily punch right through, even though graphically they are going through a little bit. This is what happens when I have a low sim speed. So, unfortunate, but... And wham, 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 wham goes the wizardry missiles into the backside. see if this thing has oiled. Hard to tell with all the various other cook-offs. Its engines are out at the very least, meaning the drive is disabled. So let's just hope we get the CIC.
Waiting for your orders, Commander.
Pew, pew, pew.
We're ready whenever you are. Waiting order. Copy. Engaging.
Let's switch over to the high explosive
They
caps.
won't know what hit them.
Press F for the DC team. Lost to flank damage. A bit kind of funny when that happens, but still minor annoyance. Hopefully one of these ships cooks off its reactor, and then we get a nice little firework display.
Receiving.
Now for the case of what is actually left. Ah, that one.
Aye, aye. We're on the way.
Gonna transfer over to Grape Shot since it's faster.
It's too far.
And
Is that a
yeah.
range?
And we are going to burn ourselves over this way.
Underway.
Yeah. Since I'm going to assume everything over here is thoroughly dead. Yeah. This appears to have space oiled. Yep, space oil is the way to tell when a ship is dead. And after 30 seconds, it will eject life pods like so. In this case, this fleet has been, well, done, dusted, and dumpstered. Rather unfortunate. I really would have liked to see these in play since they are, well, not the greatest destroyers I've seen, but they would have made for interesting combat either way. Yeah.
Waiting orders.
Oh dear. There's a
Waiting for your
collection of
orders,
voxels here. We're going to need to swap to our AP rounds to
Commander.
damage them.
Too far.
In this case, we're just kind of doing a weird mosh pit formation as we move ourselves up,
Moving.
bringing our guns to bear on that trio of voxes, which I don't know where they've been all game. I assume that they had quite the adventure, but we're going to send it to, well, we're going to make it the end of their little
Aye,
adventure
aye.
here.
We're on the
So
way.
don't care too much about my formation since I should have a line of sight on them.
Standing by.
Looking at the map here.
Receiving.
Alright. Anyways, frame rate is still a little bit poor because of the number of shells flying at this target. Oof. Wham, 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 wham.
We're ready whenever you
There
are.
we go. As you can see, the silhouette of this ship rapidly revealing itself as it gets cratered by every shot that we have.
We're ready whenever you are.
This one, now it's been locked, so we have the precision accuracy of about 2 or 3 meters. It's not getting out of here. We're going to switch our target fire over to this Reigns here with our HE rounds, I believe.
We've got 'em in
And
our
we'll start
sights.
plasmaing this
They
other
won't know
voxel.
what hit 'em.
In any case, that is a good fleet, a
Aye, aye.
Reigns
We're on
for the sort of support role. You can add in a choice of missiles, electronic warfare, maybe a small gun if you want, more point defense, and then a pair of the Vauxhall light cruisers to go along with it, providing some nasty, nasty gunfire.
Waiting orders.
I'm just gonna hop our way up here and,
Waiting
well,
orders.
send them to the abyss.
Heads up. Enemy
We're on the
missile.
way, Commander.
In case we're seeing some missiles being fired off. In this case, the Vauxhall had a missile backpack by the looks that's trying to rapidly deploy. Oop, those are torpedoes. That's nasty. So, yeah, you can see the Vauxhall rapidly shedding every torpedo it has, trying to go for a kill here. And let's see if it gets a hit. And that will be a
Missile launch.
wham right into the mid-section. Wham goes the second one. Wham. And wham. Wham. So yeah, missiles very powerful against ships that do not have the proper defense. In this case, they only have flak, which does not shoot down incoming torpedoes very well. You need kinetic defense for that, or lasers.
Standing by.
We're just gonna move over here and stop our fleet. There we go.
Ready whenever you
Gonna
are.
issue the high explosive order, and that will be the game. Give me the old GG. Yeah. As you can see, this ship just going for its final burn as we all try and rack up whatever little damage we can. Lights are out on it. So the enemy gave a good effort. Unfortunate that they had a disconnect, but I respect the effort they put forward anyways. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at our fleet. You can see, yep, quite a bit of damage built up after we managed to get some of our plasma and HE rounds flying into them. And yeah, good chunk of stuff across our fleet. You can see our allies also did some good numbers here. The Berry HQ with its very strong missiles doing a lot. In the various little shuttles getting around the map. Satoran with a little hybrid fleet there. Let's see. And lastly, we had, what was it? Ah, yes. Unfortunately, one of these bit the dust very early, only 360 damage dealt, but still. was a good fight either way. I think that's where I'm going to call stream for the day since I have to go and do other stuff now, namely get dinner. But thank you all for coming out. This has been fun. I will try and get this VOD uploaded, which is why I've been telling myself about the other ones that I'm procrastinating editing and uploading. But yeah, those should go up on a archive channel that I'm putting together. I've been NekoboyBlue. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see if we can't find somebody to raid. Yeah. Just gotta mute the desktop audio so Twitch doesn't yell and scream at all of you here, because it has a tendency to loudly play the homepage. Are any of my friends streaming right now? Let me just quickly check. Nebulous. No, no one else seems to be streaming Neb, unfortunately. Let's see. Oh, okay. Someone I loosely know. We're going to raid them. All right. So let's get that old raid going. We are going to raid Felix Wiscan, who's somebody who's worked with me on another project I did not too long back. I'm going to give them a raid, so be nice to them. They are cool from what I understand. We worked together to make a nice project. And yeah, we're going to give them a little bit of love. I've been NekoboyBlue. This has been Nebulous Fleet Command. I will see you all when I see you all. Bye!